Man, oh man. We got one tonight. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got one tonight. How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Get the likes up. I see you guys in here. We in here early tonight. We in here early. I love it. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Tay. Tay was first in the chat. Let's go, Tay. Shout out to Luna Ursa. Shout out to Karibo, Sasuke Solos. I see you. How you guys doing? What's up? What's up? Yes. 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 We in here tonight. Oh boy. You know, a little bit before we get started, I was watching my old live of me going in on Godflow and Kinsey and all them about the other stuff that I talk about, you know, chakra being a 1-to-1 ratio as far as, chakra being present in the Naruto world versus it being passed around. And the other thing that I did, right? Because I'm trying to channel that energy tonight because we're going to need it. Oh, yeah, we're going to need it. So for the past 2 days, I've been in a conversation with a one Zaz. And this is the first time that me and Zaz have spoken. First time me and Zaz have spoken. I think we follow maybe 2 to 3 mutual people. Yes, tonight is going to be a Twitter X breakdown, debunk, conversation. One of those nights. Yeah. It's been a while. It's going to be one of those nights. So we're going to go through this entire conversation. We're going to go look at what he said. We're going to go look at what I said. And then we're going to make a determination. That's what we're doing. That is what we are doing. Before we get started, though, I do want to know, how are you guys doing tonight? How are you guys doing? Was our weekend good? Stopping. When I start, I'm not stopping. We're going to go through everything that I can find that was said, and we're going to put it on the... I miss Jim for this, Zaz. I miss Jim for this. You were supposed to leave it alone. You were supposed to chill out. Let me just make the video on the thread. You couldn't help yourself. You wanted to keep yapping. I said, okay. I got you. You don't know what I do. I'm Ab-stract. Nice to meet you. You don't know what I do. We're going to... I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We're going to have so much fun. And I like you, Zaz. I do. Seem like you're a good guy. Right? Little young, and I can tell that just by the way you type and talk and logical fallacy me to death. That's what all these guys do. It's hilarious. They logical fallacy you to death. But yeah. Before we get started, how are you guys doing? Let me know that. Yo, Onk, are the letters on the wall behind you edible? They are not edible, but I wouldn't mind trying just in case they are. Yo, how you doing, Luna Ursa? Ab-stract, you helped me so much to draw my manga storyboard motivation. Let's go, Shinigami. I love that, bro. How's it going? Karibo, how's it going for you? Hey, yo, Karibo is so funny, bro, because I'll be talking to niggas in this, bro, and Karibo will act like it's the first time he's ever heard my content and information. It'd be the most funny shit. I said kunai level. Karibo's like, what you mean by that? I'm like, nigga, you watch my videos. You know exactly what I mean by kunai level. But that shit's hilarious. Okay. I had a conversation with John the Maven about Lightspeed and Naruto, and I think they're barely Mach 100 plus. Shout out to John the Maven. Haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing good. We're going to mention the MFTL, Naruto and Sasuke couldn't react to a Mach 8 or 11 jump from Madara. Shinigami, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. If we have time, I don't mind viewing your personal conversation with him. I don't mind viewing Rexler's personal conversation with him. This is the Ab-stract section, right? And here's the thing. And you know this, Shinigami, because you actually got to see it live. I never even said bro was wrong. That's why we're here today. Because niggas don't think. Because niggas don't listen. Niggas, all right. So, we're going to get into it. I wonder if people will ever understand the light Fang dodging speed is not a light speed feat because they were reacting to his neck moving, not the beam. Not according to Zaz. Zaz says Madoru was light speed. How did I get back to 3? The forced smile from Ab-stract was good. How you doing, Kai? How you doing, black man? What's up? Sage of Six Calf says it's an unironic light speed neck swivel. That's hilarious. Seriously, who is Sasuke Solos? Sasuke Solos is my man. He's one of the guys that I've talked to on Twitter before. Actually, ayo, Sasuke Solos, bro. Weren't me and you supposed to go live and actually chat about whatchamacallit? Genjutsu? Let me see real quick. Yeah, this is you right here. Hold up. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is Sasuke Solos. Yeah, ayo. Are we still doing that? Because you wanted to go live and discuss it. I'm not as free as I used to be, but I can make time. I can make time. But no, Sasuke Solos is also from Twitter. Okay, let me go back. All right. Next scaling is crazy. That is crazy when you phrase it like that. My bit was kind of funny, to be honest. Pretty much, I was there. Yes, Karibo was there. If only you could see my face reaction right now. I was in a debate with someone because I said that Sakura doesn't solo JJK. Sakura doesn't solo JJK. I'm sorry. They just have too many ways to beat a pure strength fighter. Will she outspeed most of them? Likely. But even that, it's like, no, you're not beating a majority of the cast in JJK. He blocked me for texting. Whoa, okay. Sakura blitzes all of JJK, but not because she's fast. When I said to put a pin on the possibility of a VC call. Oh, really? Wow, okay. He blocked you? That's interesting. I didn't expect that coming from Zaz. That's interesting. Okay. It's because JJK is Mach 3 like mine. Ayo, Luna Ursa, don't let Ig catch you saying that shit. He gonna be in here, Lightspeed JJK, Sukuna dodging, EM waves and Jacob's ladder, all that shit. Sakura destroys JJK. All right, cool. I'm assuming everyone's doing good. Oh, not Zaz. Okay, got you. Not Zaz. All right. Sasuke Solos. You blocked my man Shinigami. Sasuke, that's crazy, bro. Damn. Anyways, we're going to get into this, guys. And I just want to make a few things clear because I'm going to share this on Twitter. And here's what I want to make clear first. Zaz, this is what I want to make clear. This is not an attack on you personally. I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. None of that stuff. This is all anime fun stuff. For me, it is. I hope it is for you too. I will say, this is an attack on your logic and reasoning, comprehension skills, and your ability to think critically. Yeah. All that and some. So without further ado, it is 6:38. I hope you beautiful people are doing well. I'm about to tear this shit apart. Mind you, we're going to get into it. I was going to say not the argument, but you guys will see what the fuck transpires when I actually start going through the messages. So let's do it. And before I even get through our conversation, let's respect the man's thread. You know, he took the time out to actually make a thread. Most people can't/won't do that. Look, it's pretty lengthy, right? We're going to go through the entire thread. You guys can have your own opinions. Here's what I'm going to do. Because what I didn't do is I didn't do an actual breakdown of the information when we first texted. You guys will see that. For this run, I will be. We will be looking at everything, and I will give him my 100% opinion about how I feel about all these things. Cool. So we have Zaz, February 28th. This was posted. He says, this will be split into 3 parts. If you see green, that means it is 100% verifiable lightspeed feats and statements. Okay. He'll be having usage of the kanji and textbook lightspeed definition. If you see yellow, that means it is a possible lightspeed feat or statement, which is kind of weird in itself, but fine. If you see red, That is a light speed or feat or statement of a different type. Kind of vague, but we get it. Green is absolutely good. Yellow's a possible due to how it's worded, I guess, or presented. And red is a feat of a different type. Cool. So, I'm not going to start with the speed of light thing. I'm going to assume we all understand what the speed of light is. It's really not that necessary, right? So coming up at number 1, we have Haku's ice mirrors. They enable light speed movement, which he also uses while attacking between the mirrors. It's up to you to argue if Haku was or wasn't moving at that speed during the fight. Now, interestingly enough, for the Haku stuff, at least for me, some people have their gripes about this. At least for me, and I pretty much say this, I say as much during our text. I don't really have a problem with Haku because it's stated there's an actual manga statement, and the ability itself, as far as like reflecting mirrors and images off of mirrors, I could buy into it. Right? It's one I wouldn't shoot down automatically, like some of the other ones we'll come across. So Haku, and so just to add on that, the only problem is no one has any verifiable scaling to Haku moving at those speeds. Okay. Then he says, with that being said, the third person narrator states Haku. Okay, this is more Haku stuff. War Arc Haku, Part 1 Haku. He gets stronger as an Edo due to understanding his own feelings. And Zabuza's, I feel like he made that up. This wouldn't cap Haku's Kekkei Genkai at the same speed of that Part 1. His ceiling speed between mirrors should be above light speed in the war. Yes, this is just, that's a really big assumption. I don't know where we would get that, but sure. All right, here we come. Green, Itachi's water bullet. We've all heard this one before, right? A light speed projectile born from water, emerging from blind spots to gouge the enemy. Itachi's water bullet. So, Databook statement, pretty straightforward. No feats or scaling to actually back up that claim that it is light speed. He's going to say the sources, he's going to say the Databook is a self-referential source, but it being self-referential isn't proof. It's still a statement that needs to be proved. That's the only thing about that. Next, also in green, also from a Databook, Jonin Minato's slicing speed with body flicker. Something he uses in combat in character. He can apply that speed in his feats and body movements. All right, so this is just incorrect. We've never seen anyone actually attack like with combat speed at the speeds at which they use body flicker. Mind you, body flicker is supposed to be the technique that they use to use the substitution jutsu. And I went over this with somebody too. That's a funny ass conversation. So when they're using the substitution jutsu, they're essentially using body flicker to move so damn fast that they get an item, right? They leave the spot they're at, get an item, bring that item back, and then leave again. I didn't make this up. You can literally look it up. That's what that's what the substitution jutsu does. So they're essentially blitzing their opponent's perception 3 times, right? Now, obviously, the logic would be if you can blitz your opponent's perception 3 times, you should be able to do it 1 time, but no one ever does that. That's neither here nor there. It's a light speed statement from a Databook again. An unavoidable speed of light speed blade, a technique that emits a brilliant radiance on the battlefield. Has anyone ever seen Minato's kunai shine? That's the first question I asked when I read that. Have we ever seen Minato's kunai shine? Yeah. So another statement thing. This might be the most egregious one of them all. Hey, Tay, pay attention to this one. Tay, pay attention to this one. This shit might be the most egregious of them all. Kid Kakashi's Chidori Rush. Kakashi names Chidori after Minato's alias nickname, the Yellow Flash, which includes Minato's jutsu, with which he slashes at the speed of light. Pyramiding inferences. It should be referring to either Minato's slashing speed, since Kakashi isn't yellow, or his quickness. Cool. So now we have Kakashi's Chidori Rush Kakashi's Chidori Rush at the same speed at Minato's apparent light speed slash. I don't know where these kids get this shit from. I don't know where, and I know it's not vetted. I know for a fact it's not vetted. I don't know where to get this shit from. Cool. Suen's hand sign speed. I'm not even going to read. I'm literally not even going to read this because it's not manga. It looks like a novel thing. Not reading this, skipping it entirely. Kiden, Sasuke's Kiden clearing misconceptions. Kiden is faster than regular lightning via shape transformation, but will lowball it. After shooting a couple of 5-star jutsus into the atmosphere, Sasuke was out of chakra and manipulating lightning shape, lowering its time frame. So again, as you guys have noticed, 99% of this is just Databook stuff, right? And we understand how hyperbolic, misleading, inaccurate the Databooks can be. Lightning symbolizes the form of the legendary divine beast Kiden. Assaults the target. A strike at the speed of light is unavoidable. But it was avoided, wasn't it? And erases the enemy without the time to blink. So again, Kiden, Databook things. And so it's really funny just to go back, because mind you, he has green as 100% verifiable light speed feats and statements. 100% verifiable. I should have asked him how did he verify any of these things, but he's going to soon tell us anyway. Zetsu states that lightning's time frame is 1/1000th of a second. Coincidentally, L's lightning have ELV. I don't know what that lightnings have had the same time frame IRL. Kiden being stated light speed 2 times while also having a low ball time frame of a 1/10,000th second would entail that the distance from cloud to ground is that of our planet. Cool. I don't know where this. I don't know if this is a data book or if this is a novel. I don't know where this comes from. It's just seemingly zoomed really far in. It's fine though, you know. Whatever. He goes over the speed, different distance, time frame. Cool. Mifune's slashing speed. His slashes are also coincidentally become projectiles of light. And of course, with Mifune, we're not going to have any speed scaling with the slashes. We're not going to have any calcs with the speed of the slashes, anything like that. We're not even going to have a manga. We're not even going to have a manga statement. No, we're going to go to a secondary source that probably came out after and say it's light speed because everything's light speed in Naruto. Let a data book tell you everything is light speed in Naruto. Mabui's heavenly transmission. This is unironically considered a debunk when it's actually a lightspeed travel feat. See, like that's like how dense can we be, right? This is not a lightspeed travel feat. She's using a jutsu that can transport people. This is not Tsunade, Mabui herself, moving or running at the speed of light. Don't know why we're actually calling this a lightspeed travel feat. Because that would imply they're doing the work. They're not doing the work. The ethereal transmission jutsu is the one doing the work, right? So this is unironically considered a debunk when it's actually a lightspeed travel feat. What's considered fast for a non-sturdy human body is the transmission rate, not light speed itself, but only due to its anatomy since it's used for objects. Here's the thing, and I've been over this before. The transmission rate, you know what? Let me do this real quick. Let me do this real quick. All right. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't think I have time. Don't think I have time. So, anyways, what I was going to get into was we as humans have a certain physiology, right? And anatomy, right? We have blood, muscles, organs, organ systems, tissues, bones, saliva. We have all that shit, right? If you were to put us in a microwave, we would start to not boil per se, but we would start to like get some type of burn, some type of radiation. Our blood actually would probably start to boil after a certain amount on a higher setting, right? It would actually probably start to boil. But if you put wood in a microwave, relatively or virtually nothing will really happen. Right? Because we understand wood isn't made of the same material as us. So, he brings up using, what did he say? He says Tsunade and Raikage are barely affected. First off, that's a lie. He says they're barely affected. Tsunade had to be healing the entire time she was traveling, first off. A being barely affected makes sense, though, because A has a stronger constitution than most ninja. So that's number 2. Yeah, he says, but only due to its anatomy since it's used for objects. Yeah, the thing is, if you're durable enough to travel at light speed, the transmission rate shouldn't also be a problem. And I need to find out what she means by transmission rate. If she's talking about the speed at which they're being sent, then they're not surviving light speed travel. If she's like just talking about, I don't know what else she could be talking about. If it's not the speed at which they're being sent, I have no idea what she could be talking about. So Tsunade and Raikage are barely affected physically, and their clothes are fine. I don't know why, and this is that, he's suspending disbelief for some reason. He's acting like this isn't manga. He's acting like this isn't anime stuff, and they're supposed to be naked because they're traveling. I'm sorry, when Goku gets hit with a ki blast, that hurts him, and his clothes aren't completely destroyed. Do we expect Goku to be naked? I get it happens sometimes, but no. You even mentioning the clothes that is a very insecure, low comment, honestly. This means the issue is strictly related to the anatomy of what or who is being transported. Madara also reacts to the attack. Yes, the attack itself wasn't coming at light speed. Them traveling and coming down wouldn't be hitting at light speed. Cool. Madara's light fang. It only comes out of his mouth at the speed of light. However, the attack itself was used via his own faster body, swinging movement, whose trajectory bisects the enemy. The attack is also credited for his extremely high AP since it even split a TSO. Right. So, we have a ninjutsu in which one who has obtained the power of the sixth pass releases a light beam and bisects the enemy. Sharpened and pointed like a fang, a single flash boasting light speed cuts through all things. And the enemy cannot even manage to block a single swing of the light beam. Might be a translation issue. It's supposed to say dodge, but okay. And of course, all these things are Databook things. So if you're a Databook only person who doesn't actually factor in feats and scaling into the series, they're light speed all day. Okay, now we have, this is impressive because 6 Pass Naruto kicked a TSO with his AP while Light Fang split it clean. With such high AP, hadn't Naruto dodged his swinging, he would have been bisected mid-air due to being held by a Limbo clone. This means Madara lowered Light Fang's speed to amp its AP. Again, these are just like gross assumptions. Headcanon, gross assumptions, pyramiding inferences, all at once. Very crazy. This might be the worst shit I've seen yet. Kaguya extracting chakra across universal distances. First off, I don't even want to get into... Hold up. I don't even want to get into the dimension thing versus universe thing. Is Kaguya's dimension within the same universe? Is it in the same time space? I don't even want to get into that. Fine. Kaguya extracting chakra across universal distances. Kaguya directly extracted the chakra of the infinite Tsukiyomi's victims from the main Naruto universe to her own separate dimension in mere seconds. Okay. Or at the very least, a very small time frame. And he has this as a light speed feat. Right. Cool. The issue with this is it's a gross assumption that just because... Oh, wait, well, let me read this part first. Let me read this part first, and then I'll get into what I'm about to say. This is the speed with which she manipulates chakra. I'm going to say that again. Her absorption speed from a different dimension. This is the speed with which she manipulates chakra. Now, when a statement like that is said, that can be read as this is the speed with which she manipulates all chakra, meaning everything involving chakra. That's the speed she manipulates it with. Since she's stated to be able to freely manipulate it, she would use that chakra manipulation speed with jutsu such as Vacuum Fist, where she concentrates chakra on top of her palms. So, again, pyramiding inferences. Gross generalization. Heavy assumption. No feats to back it up. No scaling to back it up. Again, this is the triune that his thread has fallen into. Pyramid inferences, overgeneralization, gross assumptions, no feats to back it up, no scaling to back it up. Databook. Okay. Momoshiki, extracting chakra across universal distances. Same thing for Momoshiki, except there are no trapped victims. Just a vague storage of chakra from beyond the dimension he created. The time frame also should be similarly small since Sasuke can see it with his Rinnegan. I'm guessing this comes from a movie. I'm guessing the rest of this is filler or a novel or whatever. I'm not even going to begin to count that. I mean, no, listen. It's not about me counting it because I'm just going over the thread, like I said, just to show you guys what we're working with here. No, I'm not doing that. Urashiki traveling through constellations while already in the main Naruto universe. Urashiki traveled from the closest constellation to Earth in the time frame of a year or close to reach Toneri, who sends him entering the constellations. Don't know if this is filler. Don't know if this is a movie. Didn't happen in the manga. I certainly don't count it. If you do, knock yourself out. The time frame is roughly a year since Boruto was 11 years old during episode 8 and celebrated his birthday during episode 51. The dub mentions the comet entering Cancer, but the closest constellation is actually Centaurus. Why don't he just say Centaur? Which is 4,000 to 5,000 light years away from Earth. And then, not to be that guy, but we have no idea what launched him. Is this a jutsu? Do we know? Is he just flying? Was there a jutsu that propelled him into space? Do we know any of these things? Did he ask these questions? Probably not. These feats are not directly stated to be light speed, but they include light or light rays in some ways. Note that ninjas must have a great understanding of the principles behind the jutsu they use. Darui's laser circus. So he is laser circus as a maybe. C's flash pillar. He is C's flash pillar as a maybe. Sage Kabuto's white extreme attack. He is this jutsu as a maybe. Part 2 of the thread. Fu's scales hiding jutsu. When Fu shoots those scales that sparkle, he has this as a maybe light speed attack. Very crazy. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. This is the thread we're dealing with. Cool. So we all got that? We're good? Bet. Let's get into the conversation. Not grok. Bookmarks. Okay. With the preamble out of the way, let's get into why we're even doing this video today. Because now, we're about to go in. We're about to have some fun with this. As of now, oh wait, hold up, let me do it like this. Let's enlarge that. Go back here. Close you again. As of now, Zaz. Pause if it's too close to ass. But we about to smoke on some Zaz right now. I hope y'all could hear that. Tell him again too. Hold up. Zaz. Yes. That's what we're about to be smoking on. Some Zaz right now. This is a Zaz pack. Okay. Let's get into it. This is my response. So Shinigami tags me. He says, Ab-stract, illusionary, Eisen-sama, want to play a drinking game chat? Take a shot every time a Databook is used. Now, this is hilarious because as you guys just seen, 99% of that shit was Databook stuff. Supplementary information coming from a secondary source that is riddled with hyperbole, flowery language, misinformation at some points, and et cetera, right? So there's that aspect of it. I respond with, issue for me is, if these are the standards, then you can practically get any verse to light speed or beyond extremely quickly, extremely easily. If these are the standards, we saw his standards, right? mention light speed, no actual scaling, no actual calc. It just has to mention light speed within the attack or within the phrase of what's being said. We saw that. Doesn't have to have no scaling, calc, outliers, inconsistent. Fuck all that shit. It just has to mention light speed. That was the biggest standard I took away from it. It just has to say light speed and therefore it is. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the issue for me is if these are the standards, then you can practically get any verse to light speed or beyond extremely easily. All right. Shinigami says, that's why I wanted to make it a drinking game. I mean, I need something exciting if it's the same regurgitation. I tell him I only drink on vacation. Shinigami says, damn, I might make it a different game. Cool. Now, Zaz responds to me. He says, I'm not saying a verse needs to have the verbatim light speed statements like Naruto for those motherfuckers to be light speed and above. I'm saying that believing that a verse that has both the types of evidence like Naruto shouldn't have any doubt of being light speed and above. Cool. Nice response. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I respond with, all depends on your standards for proof. Stated in a data book equals therefore true is an extremely low standard for me. Listen to how Young Bull responds, and I know he's young. He says, yeah, I don't give a single flying fuck if the standard for you isn't that. I care for the standard of what's considered canon. Also, there are a lot of feats which didn't include data books. Again, Ab-stract is peaceful. I say that's fine. That's why I didn't say you were wrong, young nigga. If that's what you accept as light speed, cool, young nigga. Only ones I saw that weren't databook stuff were Mabui's jutsu, which is fine. And then the novel stuff in that Toneri Urashiki shit. He then says, also Kaguya. Oh wait. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything in this conversation. So he says, yeah, also Kaguya and Mifune, since his attack is verbatim called light. Also Kaguya and Mifune. Also Kaguya and Mifune, since his attack is verbatim called light. As well as Fu and C, who all use light. But wasn't Fu in the maybe category for using light? Now she's a green. Fu was a yellow, but now she's a green. He says, then me and you are cool, I guess. You just got summoned by your colleague for nothing. So I respond with, yeah, I stay away from name fallacies. Another good practice scaling tool. Mifune isn't using natural light, nor does his technique have any light speed calc or scaling. These people that you're naming manipulate chakra. These people that you're naming manipulate chakra. That's not light. As such, shouldn't be taken as such without proof. These people that you're naming manipulate chakra. That's not light, and as such, shouldn't be taken as such without proof. I might have typoed that. He says, you said that while literally using appeal to reality fallacies. I'm crying. All right, so here is the thing, and I say it, but I'm going to just say it now. Listen, young nigga. I really want to say dumb nigga, but listen. And you know what? Maybe I won't say name fallacy. Because I could have easily just have said, oh yeah, I don't take things that are copies or mimics of things and say they are the real thing. But I didn't want to waste the characters. Saying name fallacy encapsulates what I just said a lot simpler. We all understand name fallacy. You said that while literally using appeal to reality fallacy. Cool. We understand that reality is the starting point and the basis for everything, right? As far as this fictional shit is concerned, reality is going to be your starting point. Until things differentiate, or separate themselves dramatically from reality, that is the fucking starting point. Ninjas have to understand the element they use to perform jutsu, but a jutsu doesn't need to be made of light to be light speed. Chakra is directly proportional to speed. You have zero knowledge on Naruto. Ha! Ha! So that's the one that gets me, right? It's always these Naruto fanatics that will claim you have zero knowledge on Naruto. You don't know what you're talking about. Lil homie. Lil homie. FYI, I've talked with the best of your fucking community, respectfully. Right? Only nigga that has escaped my, I don't even want to say grasp. Only nigga I haven't been able to really get down that I've like tried to talk to is Noodles. Noodles on certain things, the Genjutsu stuff. He made a comment on my Genjutsu video. He said, what did Noodles say? Something to the effect of, this video sucks. I said, why does it suck? Never got a reply. That's not the first time I've replied to him, though. Now that I think about it, there's a few of you guys that I haven't talked to. But no, a good majority of your community, young one, I have talked to. Yeah. Yeah. Jutsu don't need to be made of light to be light speed. No, they don't. I agree. They don't need to be made of light to be light speed, but we at least want some good practice scaling tools to prove their light speed. No? So I respond with yes. Reality is the starting point. Laugh my ass off. And knowing science of something doesn't necessitate replication of that thing 100%. Zero Naruto knowledge. Laugh my ass off. Please don't be that guy. Listen, I'm trying to be like cool and respectful. Mind you guys, this is the early stages of our conversation. I'm saying zero Naruto knowledge. Laugh my ass off. Please don't be that guy. Do not act like you are holier than thou. Do not act like you've been doing this longer than I have. I've been watching Naruto probably before you were fucking in school. Probably. Judging by how you type, judging by how you respond, judging by your logical arguments, which are illogical, but I'm saying, right? I've probably been doing this longer than you. Show some decency. He says, what? It's the starting point, but it doesn't mean ninjas can only be light speed if their techniques are made of light. When did I say that? He's going to talk a lot about straw man fallacies and shit. When did I say that? When did I say that? Anyways, retarded ass comment, zero power scaling knowledge. Okay, cool. So now you're just showing that you'll fold under the slightest bit of criticism. Anyone who doesn't agree with you obviously doesn't know anything about Naruto and obviously has zero scaling knowledge. Got to this point faster than I can say, got to this point faster than I thought, but I can't say I'm surprised. Because so many of you Naruto guys get your feelings hurt when anyone criticizes, derides, critiques, or makes a comment that is not in favor of whatever the fuck you posted. You all get so butthurt because you decided to put your opinion out on the internet and didn't like what you got back. This happens so many times. So many times. Zaz, you're not the first. My nigga, you're not the first, but you gonna get it the worst. Oh yeah. He said, gang, you said that Mifune's attacks are not light speed because they are not made of light. Like, what are we doing here? Do you not see a clear issue with that? I'm not saying that I'm the god of Naruto knowledge, but if you made that claim, it means that yours is more limited. Okay, cool. I said that as well. Hold up. He said, you said that Mifune's attacks are not light speed because they are not made of light. Is that all I said? I said that as well as the lack of feats or scaling. You're playing the statement game, and that's fine. Just know it doesn't necessitate truth and that it's the lowest barometer for arriving at a factual conclusion. Has anyone heard me call him wrong yet? Has anyone heard me call this nigga wrong? That's fine. That's why I didn't say you were wrong. This nigga. Okay. He says no. There is no lack of feats. The feats are there. You're just being disingenuous and not considering them. You just don't like that you can't disprove anything. So you talk about it being a statement game without refuting anything. Hold up. When did we get to refuting anything? Didn't Ab-stract just say you're not wrong? Didn't I just say that was fine? This is how I know when niggas are responding to debate and not responding to understand or listen. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I could not do what I do to these niggas if they actually sat down and engaged with me. If we weren't not on a debate level. Not on a debate level. Like, look at this. Hold up. You just don't like that you can't disprove anything. What am I supposed to be disproving here exactly? What am I supposed to be disproving? Am I engaged in an argument? Did I say anything? Did I say anything aside from the fact that his barometer for facts and coming to logical conclusions is low? Did I say anything aside from that? Or has Ab-stract been saying, you can do what you do, bro? That's fine. That's why I didn't say you were wrong. Hold up. Where's the other one? Because I say it twice. Yeah, all depends on your standards for proof. All depends on your standards for proof. All right. So I say the feats aren't there, laugh my ass off. Statements are there with zero scaling behind them. I don't need to refute what hasn't been proven. Like most Naruto scalers, you accept statements from practically any source, which we saw him do. He used the novels. He used the anime. He used the manga. I'm pretty sure he had a movie in there. He used the Databooks, right? You accept statements from practically any source as true. And again, that's fine. I say it again. That's fine. I'm just saying by these standards, every verse is light speed. Every verse is light speed. Hold up. He then says, yes, there are feats there. And you conceded to them being correct already, like Otsutsuki. Hey guys, anyone know what Otsutsuki feat Ab-stract conceded to being correct? We're going to get to that. We're going to come back to that. Or no, we actually won't because he never actually provides whatever the fuck feat that was. Statements don't need feats behind them because those statements are statements of feats. Do we know what circular reasoning is? Do we know what begging the question is? You like logical fallacies, right? Do we know what those things are? He said, statements don't need feats. Statements don't need feats. Just stop right there. Listen to that. Statements don't need feats. Yes, I'm stopping there. I know there's more, but just listen to that. Statements don't need feats. So we can just say anything now and it be true because someone said it? Is that how this works? Or is that how this works in your mind? Statements don't need feats behind them because those statements are statements of feats. Okay. Red is red because red is red because red is red. Did anything change? Like literally the same thing which you just said, I just said. I provided the validity of the data books. It's on you to prove why those statements are wrong. So I correct him. I say the only feat I acknowledged was Mabui's. And I can probably say for Haku's, right? The only feat I acknowledged was Mabui's, and I don't get into information outside the manga unless it's already corroborated by the manga. Again, I don't need to prove them wrong. They could be true. But if the only evidence you have for something is that it was stated, then good fucking luck. Let's read that again. Because here's one other reason why I'm better than you niggas. I make sure I read what you said at least 3 times so I know I'm not making a mistake. Right? You'll never catch me in a debate with a nigga that said Ab-stract, you're right, or Ab-stract, you're fine, or Ab-stract. You can do that, bro, but I can't do that. You'll never catch me asking a nigga to prove something that he never asserted, to fight something he never put down, to hold a position he's never maintained. You'll never see that happening because I make sure I read what you niggas are actually saying at least 2 to 3 times. So I'm like, okay, hold up. Let me make sure I got this right. And then that's why I be noticing all the little fucking typos and stuff like that. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I say The only feat I acknowledged was Mabui's, and I don't get into information outside the manga unless it's already corroborated by the manga. Again, I don't need to prove them wrong. They could be true, but if the only evidence you have for something is that it was stated, then good luck. He said, you also acknowledged Otsutsuki. He said that twice now, hasn't he? Where's the other Otsutsuki thing he said? Where did he say that, bro? Okay, we know he said it one time. This is him saying it twice. You also acknowledged Otsutsuki 1, which are straight up MFLTL plus as lowball, by the way. And no, they could be true, is actually they could be false. It's on you to prove when they are false because the data book itself is meant to give factual info. I say, whatever you're thinking I acknowledged, I'm now making it clear that I do not acknowledge it because I have no idea what you're talking about. And throughout this conversation, he's going to say, I'm not tracking. I think he thought that I agreed to some shit that I never even agreed to. I think that's what he's thinking right now. You're the one presenting it as true. So it's on you to bring the evidence, not a statement. And then I ask him, is everything in the data book factual? Let's do that again, though. Because he says they could be true is actually they could be false. True. It's on you to prove when they are false because the data book itself is meant to give factual info. Someone's not fucking paying attention, right? I said if I'm the one saying they could be true, right? If I'm saying they could be true, I'm not saying they are false. Don't know how niggas don't get this. Don't know how. Well, no. I know why. Because they don't read. Reading comprehension was one of the things I said I was attacking, right? Critical thinking was one of the things I said I was attacking, right? They could be false. It's on you to prove when they are false. Never said they were false. Don't know why I'd have to prove something I never said was the case. Let's move on. Is everything in the data book factual? He says, motherfucker, statements are evidence. Stop being so dense. Statements are evidence. Stop being so dense. Mostly everything. He says mostly everything in the data book is factual. Remember he says this, right? Remember he says mostly everything in the data book. He didn't say everything. He said mostly everything, right? But what did he tell us up here? He said that the data book itself is meant to give factual info. Okay. So if I'm asking if everything in there is in fact factual and you're saying mostly everything is, then we can conclude some things in there aren't. Right? But it never goes off in his head to actually delineate between what is factual and what isn't factual. Okay. He says, he says statements are evidence. Stop being so dense. Mostly everything in the data book is factual because it's a self-referential book meant to give data. I attached a video that explains the validity of the data books. Ironically, guys, it's the video we watched on screen by Sage of Thick Calves, I think. I say, what you call dense is ironically the opposite of accepting everything you read as true. What you're doing would actually be dense. Funny how that fucking works. He calls me dense, but he's the one that accepts statements off of face value, while I do due diligence, research, judiciousness, and all this other shit, but I'm somehow the dense one. Funny how that shit works. If the statement is provably true, then sure, use it as evidence. What you're presenting are statements with nothing that verifies if it's actually true. Hey guys, did anyone see him present a statement? Did anyone see him present anything corroborating a statement? Did anyone see him present any evidence corroborating the statement? Did he show a calc? Did he give a scaling chain? No, none of that stuff. He didn't give us a calc, a scaling chain. He didn't give us a direct manga statement. Nothing? Okay, cool. He says, yeah, you're not getting it. I don't need something to verify them. The statements themselves are by definition verifiable proof. So now he thinks statements in and of themselves are verifiable proof. So Zaz, we have a different issue on our hands. We approach life different. Scaling especially different. Ab-stract doesn't take anything as inherently true. Well, no, my existence, right? But there's a fucking threshold of things that I've come to accept is true in my reality, of course, right? But within power scaling, fuck no. No, I look at everything. Fine tooth comb through all that shit. Make sure it's factual. Make sure it's right. Make sure there's something that corroborates it. Make sure there's something that backs it up. You don't do none of that stuff. Cool. Listen, I do this again for the young nigga. I say cool. And again, your barometer is lower than mine. All that means is that my take will inherently be more accurate because it's working with way less assumptions and a more rigorous methodology. He didn't like that. He didn't like that. Because he like, the Naruto community always has to have the most accurate, better take. He says, yeah, I already proved the exact contrary. Your barometer, and then he says, assuming you're talking about Bleach, is seeing attack being referenced as light equals light speed. I'm fine with that. Let's pause there. Hey, chat. Chat, what the fuck out of our interaction would make him believe that Ab-stract's barometer is seeing attack being referenced as light equals light speed? What in the actual fuck is he talking about? Hey, Zaz, I'm attacking your logic and reasoning, skills of comprehension, and the ability to think critically. Yes. Where's my shit? Hold up. Where's that, bro? And guess what? I ain't tell what. No lie, yeah. I ain't tell a single lie yet. Zaz. Yes. That's what we smoking tonight. We smoking a Zaz pack. Can someone tell me, riddle me this, chat, where did Ab-stract give the slightest inclination that his barometer for light speed scaling, or for any scaling, is the seeing attack being referenced as light and then that equal light speed? Where did he get that? Because I'm pretty sure he made that shit up. He says, I'm fine with that, but Naruto has the same statements and on top of that has literal light speed statements. I said, what does this have to do with Bleach? I'm talking about my ethos and philosophy towards scaling, and that is completely wrong and would never work under rigorous scrutiny. I've literally been saying why scaling like that is bad the entire time, and you think that's how I would scale Bleach? Who have I been talking to? Who have I been talking to, bro? Does Zaz switch with someone else? Is this a new person? A new personality somehow? Where would he get the idea that I thought that would be how I scale lightspeed anything when I've been critiquing his methodology the entire time, his barometer, his standards? He says, I repeat for the 5th time, I'm the one that brought up Bleach here because your very first claim was, well, if everyone scaled like that, then all characters would be lightspeed. I prove my methodology's quality is above yours despite you saying the opposite. Did anyone hear him? So the funny thing about that, did he give a methodology? No, he didn't. He just said in his thing what he would consider light speed based off of, the things he considered light speed were statements. That's literally where it starts with him, statements. That's literally where it starts with him, statements. If stated, then therefore true. That's his entire scaling ethos for light speed scaling. If stated light speed, therefore true. Must be. Gotta be. Can't be nothing else. I mean, it says light speed. Done it? Okay. He says, what'd he say? I proved why my methodology's quality is above yours despite you saying the opposite. It can't be above mine if you just accept statements at face value. Laugh my ass off. Facts. I don't even gotta go long for that. Your methodology cannot be better than mine if you accept statements at face value. The minute I do anything more than that, my methodology is stronger than yours. It goes through a more rigorous process because it goes through more steps. He says statements that are from factual self-referential data exposing sources are to be taken literally. Otherwise, there would be no need for a data book. Oh, here we go, guys. Listen to this shit. Mind you, he just said statements that are from a factual self-referential data exposing sources are to be taken literally. Otherwise, there would be no need for a data book. So aside from the fact that we could just go through the entire Naruto data book and pull out false statement after false statement, hyperbolic statement after hyperbolic statement, writing with flowery language, inconsistencies through what the manga has said, and all that shit. Aside from that, listen to what he just says, right? Or listen to what I just said. You already said the data book is all factual, right? I'm sorry. You already said the data book isn't all factual, which means things such as hyperbole, retcons, and narrative inconsistencies all exist within it. If you're not using some methodology to accept or deny statements based on these things, your methodology would be well below mine. His next reply is, I never said that. I said it's factual. Really? Let's go up, Zaz. Let's go up. I ask you, is everything in the data book factual? You say mostly everything in the data book is factual. 1-0, nigga. I never said that. I said it's factual. No, you said mostly everything's factual. To y'all, this might not be a big point. For me, this is a big point because when I ask that question, that is a setup question, right? Because his whole scaling ideology, as far as the light speed scaling for Naruto, starts with statements. Most of those statements come from the data book. Where's it at? Where we at? Hold up. Yeah, I shouldn't be talking while I'm actually scrolling so I can actually see what I'm doing. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah. So, as you guys seen, 90% of his shit comes from the data book. I ask him, is everything in the data book factual? Because I know you have to say either yes or no to that question. Or you can kind of do what he said and say, oh, mostly or kind of, right? But the setup to that is, if everything is factual, then there should be no lies. If everything is true, then we can take it hyper literally. And if we take it hyper literally, we'll definitely find inconsistencies, won't we? Oh yeah, we will. So, is everything in the data book factual? Mostly everything in the data book is factual because it's a self-referential book. It's a self-referential book meant to give data. 3 minutes later, I never said that. I said it's factual. Hold up. You already said that the data book isn't all factual. You already said that the data book isn't all factual. That's the first lie we're going to catch his ass in tonight. I never said that. I said it's factual. See, and I told you I was going to get your ass on the playback. I told you this. I told you I was going to get your ass in the playback. I don't know who he thought he was playing with. We're not done. This is the end of this thread. We're not done. We get into another conversation. Hold up. What's the next joint? No, not that. Oh, that's all I saved? I bet. It's cool. I'll go to my, where's my profile? So, the takeaway from that conversation, guys, was he didn't even know what the fuck was being argued, by the way. That's what the whole takeaway was. He didn't understand what was being argued because he asked me to debunk him, disprove him, all these other. He didn't understand what was actually going on. He didn't understand that Ab-stract said, hey, bro, it's okay. You can scale like that. It's just not for me. He thought I had to defend why he shouldn't scale like that or some weird shit. Okay, let's go. Where we at? All right. Okay, where we at? Excuse me. Where's that conversation about Kakashi? Oh my gosh, man. All right, not that one. Not that, not that. Okay, what is this? What is this cipher actually? This might be it. Oh, okay, yeah. So here it is. Beautiful. So somewhere down the line, guys, he asked me something about hyperbole or something like that. or a mentioning of due diligence or something like that. Right? I said this. You added Kid Kakashi's Chidori Rush because Minato has a Databook statement of slashing at light speed. And it mentions the word brilliance and radiance. And I say, your hyperbole senses weren't going off by either of those things. Have we ever seen Minato with brilliance or radiance? Have we ever seen Minato... Have we ever seen Kakashi's Chidori Rush be instantaneous? Do you truly believe Chidori lets Kakashi attack in an instant? Man, oh man. He says, what's wrong with that? Minato only slashes with his arms at the speed of light, while Kakashi literally does a full rush. Kakashi also cuts lightning, which makes it consistent for him to be faster than lightning. And he's a Jonin like Haku, who is light speed via mirrors. Okay. Ab-stract says, what's wrong with that is there's no proof or scaling behind a statement, and one can easily argue hyperbole or writing reflect. You know, I gotta go to the setup because you guys aren't gonna understand it. You guys are gonna think I'm arguing with him based on me disagreeing with something, but you're missing the context, and I really want to find that context. I really want to find it, or else it's gonna throw everything out of whack. So let me see if I can find it real quick, because it really is important. All right, Australian, no. Okay, all depends on standards. Okay, it might have been here. It might have been right there. Let me say that again. I wouldn't say weak if that's his barometer for truth. I just can't be saying, oh yeah, I just can't be saying everything that has a statement is light speed or faster. Got to factor in scaling. Oh, that's what it was. Cool, beautiful. So Shinigami says, well, their conversation was kind of funny too. I actually might get into it. So yeah, Shinigami says nobody mentioned Bleach. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, cool. Nobody mentioned Bleach is my point. We just agree that your level of evidence is extremely weak. Right. Nobody mentioned Bleach is my point. We just agree that your level of evidence is extremely weak. Mind you, Ab-stract has not called this man wrong one time. I wouldn't say weak. If that's his barometer for truth, LOL, right? Because here's the thing. It's subjective, right? It's extremely subjective. If that's all it takes to convince him, how the hell can I say he's wrong? I can disagree with it. How can I say he is wrong, though? So, I wouldn't say it's weak if that's his barometer for truth, LOL. I just can't be saying everything that has a statement is light speed or faster. Gotta factor in scaling, calcs, outliers, hyperbole, death of the author, and other good scaling practices. Get this, guys. He says, which is literally what I did in the thread if you read it. Then what's your issue? So in his mind, that thread you guys just witnessed, in his mind, he factored in scaling, calcs, outliers, hyperbole, death of the author, and other good scaling. This is what he's saying he did in the thread. Cool. So that lets me open the door to the Kakashi conversation because that's where this actually comes from. Good. Now you guys got the context for the Kakashi conversation. Let's go back to that one. Oh, wait. No, we don't want to go back there. We want to go back. Okay. Anyways, let's find that real quick. Good. Yeah, no, that's the that is the context for the Kakashi conversation that we're about to have. Do y'all believe it gets crazier than this? Oh, because it does. Yeah, it does. It gets much more crazy. Gets much more crazy. We haven't even gotten to the good shit yet. This is all preamble for me. All right, where are we at? No, it's not there. It's not there. It's a lot lower. A little bit lower. Okay, Mabui's thing. What's wrong with statements? Where did I say Kakashi? You know, I can just search my goddamn thing. Give me a second, guys. November. That didn't work. Okay. Huh. Let me see if it's in my... Is it in my bookmarks? Real quick. Nope, not in my bookmarks. Okay. Where's my notifications? Let's find it there. Wait until we get into this chakra Naruto Kunai level bullshit. Because, man, oh man. Okay, go down, go down. Go down, go down. As you see, we was yapping a lot. Wait, I'm being stupid, bro. I'm being stupid. If I just go to his thing, it should be there. It should be there. Hold up. No, not this one. God damn it. Okay, that's the... Okay, yeah, here it is. Wow, I'm stupid, guys. Here we go. So remember, he just said he does all those things. Death of the author, hyperbole, feats, calcs. He just said he did all these things, right? Cool. I said, you added Kid Kakashi's Chidori Rush because Minato has a Databook statement of slashing at light speed, and it mentions the word brilliance and radiance. Your hyperbole senses weren't going off by either of those things. Do you truly believe Kakashi's Chidori Rush is does it in an instant, right? He says, what's wrong with that? Minato only slashes with his arms at the speed of light, while Kakashi literally does a full rush. Kakashi also cuts lightning, which makes it consistent for him to be light speed, or be faster than lightning, right? And he's a Jonin like Haku, who is light speed via mirrors. Mind you guys, I want you guys to keep in mind that now I have something to argue for, but it's still not in opposition of his ethos towards scaling, right? It's more so on the grounds of his methodology, his fact-finding process, and his barometer for truth or information, data, all that shit. So I say, saying just because Haku can do something therefore Kakashi can is on so many levels incorrect. Was there something I said before that, though? Okay. He says, yes, right. What's wrong with that, right? So the first comment was, what's wrong with that is there's no proof or scaling behind this statement, and one can easily argue hyperbole or writing with flair. This is what I mean by low barometer, bro. We have no idea how Kakashi cut lightning, yet you're claiming it as a fact for scaling. We already went over Kakashi cutting lighting. I don't have to do that shit. We're not doing that, right? He says, the proof is something I already presented in the scans in question. You're just begging the question and being disingenuous. So, again, whenever you don't agree with these guys, whenever you're on the opposite foot, whenever you're not fucking jerking them off, you're being disingenuous. Facts. You can try and say it's a hyperbole, but it will never work because it simply isn't. You have to provide likelihood to your claims. No, I don't. I don't have to provide anything to my claims because I didn't claim it was. I said one could easily argue either one of the two if you're doing that. Again, he doesn't understand the difference between making an argument and presenting a doubtful, having a doubtful position on something. He doesn't understand this. But he likes fallacies and stuff, but he doesn't, So yeah, saying just because Haku can do something, therefore Kakashi can, is on so many levels of incorrect. There's another level of being wrong because Kakashi is faster than Haku, gang. Kakashi is faster than Haku. Yeah, outside his mirrors. Nope, Kakashi is already above light speed. What's the feat? Reacts to Itachi's water bullet via his own water jutsu, and should have a combat speed faster than Chidori Rush of his kid self, which equaled Jonin Minato's slashing speed. So, this sounds correct if we weren't already talking about the context of how to build facts, evidence, and shit that he said he does. Right. So I respond with right. And water bullet is light speed because of a statement. So no actual calc, scaling, or feat took place, just stated and therefore true. It's the highest level of pyramiding inferences. Mind you guys, I want to keep reiterating that the point now is his methodology for gathering information, making a claim, presenting a claim, all that shit. The way he posits, all that shit. That's what we're talking about right now. So when I'm saying right and water bullet is light because of a statement, the statement itself isn't proof. You said that you do my methodology. You said, oh, I do all that stuff. So what's your problem? I say, no, you don't. Because if you did all that shit, you wouldn't have Kakashi at light speed based off of a fucking Minato statement. You wouldn't, because you would have did your due diligence. You would have actually had proof. You would have actually had a calc. You would have actually had a scale. You would have actually used scaling. He says, what's wrong with it being a statement? It's on you to prove why those statements are not valid, not me. The data book is meant to give data, so by definition, the feats like those are true by its nature. Oh, okay. So because the data book is meant to give data, therefore everything is true by its nature? Is that the logic we're going with? So if I go to the data book and I find something, if I go to the data book and I happen to find something that doesn't coincide with the manga entirely, is it true or false? Which one takes precedent? And how would you differentiate those two things? How would you do it? What process would you use? He doesn't know. He doesn't have one. Unless shown otherwise, you have to prove otherwise. Statements themselves aren't inherently true. Sorry to burst your bubble. Statements themselves aren't inherently true, young nigga. It's not that it can't be valid. It very well could be. But claiming it is the case is entirely on you. Let's say that again, because I know he didn't understand what the fuck I just said. Statements themselves aren't inherently true. It's not that it can't be valid. It very well could be. But claiming it is the case is entirely on you. So you can't come back to me and say, debunk it. What's your counter? You can't come back to me, motherfucker, and ask me to do that. That's not how that works. You're the one making the could be. You're the one making the could be claim. You're the one saying it is the case. You're the one saying it is true. You're batting for that team. I'm simply asking for proof. I'm simply asking for a higher standard of proof, if anything. And if all you have is a statement with zero calc or scaling, why should we accept it as true when it could very well be false? Data book meant to give data. Then yes, they are. It's on you to prove when they are not true. Stop with this rhetoric. It's bullshit. You have to prove then they are false. And you already conceded on Otsutsuki's feats to be true. He's brought up this Otsutsuki feat again. Anyone know what Otsutsuki feat he is talking about, bro? I have no idea what he is talking about. And I'm reading this again for the second time. I have no idea what he's talking about. I say, what Otsutsuki feat? Laugh my fucking ass off. I have no idea what you're talking about. Didn't Kishimoto say something about the verse not being able to survive guns? Isn't that a valid source? Should we also take that as gospel? Oh, oops. Oops. There goes your logic flipped on its fucking head. Let's read his thing again, right? If they're from a valid source, can't get any more valid than the author, right? If they're from a valid source, then yes, they are. It's on you to prove when they are not true. Oh, well, okay, shit. Didn't Kishimoto say something about the verse not being able to survive guns? Isn't that a valid source? Should we also take that as gospel? And he doesn't understand that storytelling is different from power scaling. And authors, he doesn't understand that authors don't do what we do. He says, motherfucker, have you even read my thread at all? Just read it and you'll see what I'm talking about with the Otsutsuki feats. Whoa, hold up. Why do I need to read your thread for feats you said I already agreed to? Why can't you just say the feat I fucking agreed to? Unless I didn't actually agree to a feat and you're actually reading too fast and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Could it be that? Because the chat has seen you say Otsutsuki feats 3 times now. We haven't seen you bring up a single Otsutsuki feat that I agreed with 3 times. I don't need to read your thread again. I didn't agree to shit. Also, he said that he wouldn't want to use gun in an interview during the very first chapters of Naruto. Turns out he literally gives the ability to fucking pain. So he thinks this is a gun. He thinks this is a gun. Let's do that real quick, though, too. Let's do that. I don't mind, right? Let's see what he says. I don't know if this is valid or not. I'm just reading it. One rule is that there can't be projectile weapons such as guns in the story. No ninja would have a chance against the power of a gun. Valid source must be true. Because if stated and therefore true, then it must logically follow. 2-0, young nigga. 2-0. Yeah, that's 2-0 right there. Yeah. No ninja would have a chance against the power of a gun. Gunpowder alone has appeared in the animation, and I didn't mind that. So they did it without his permission. They put guns and gunpowder in the fucking series without his express permission. He didn't mind it, though. So gunpowder by itself is okay. Also, I don't draw vehicles like airplanes in the story to some extent. I have to avoid drawing technological weapons that can be used for war. Why would that be the case? Well, if we think critically about what he first said about guns and gunpowder, what could be the next logical conclusion about Kishimoto's view for the Naruto verse if weapons of mass destruction or modern weapons of not mass destruction existed within the series? Do you want to play this fucking game with me? Do you want to play the statement, if they're true, game with me, you will lose? Oh, he said that in the first chapters of Naruto, then he gave Pain a gun. That's not a gun. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble again, but Pain, one of Pain's path bodies, Shirado, all he shot was building level missiles at most, and it was going to kill Choji building level, which means the actual AP would have been lower than building level because it's an explosion. More so wall level, street level probably. Do you want to play this statement game? To some extent, I have to avoid drawing technological weapons that can be used for war. For instance, hold up, I can't see. Oh, hold up. For instance, if missiles could be used, the story would be over. Laugh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you. So cool. If missiles could be used, the story would be over. Shirado uses a very, very small missile. Not a modern day missile, I'll tell you that. He doesn't use a modern day missile. He doesn't use a soy phone missile. If soy phone is... it's not a soy phone missile. But hey, we can play the statement game. Cool. My friend, because he says, turns out he literally gives the ability to pain, right? My friend, I wouldn't describe that as a gun, but okay. I laughed my ass off. And how about you quote the Otsutsuki statement that I agreed with? Here's me actively asking him to quote this goddamn thing so I can actually know what he's talking about, because I still have no idea what he's talking about. He says, okay, so a technological artifact that shoots chakra beams is weaker than a gun? You might not like my answer. Kishimoto just changed ideas later in the story and made that statement at the very first chapters in Naruto. In the tuning exams, he already shows shotguns. Laugh my ass off. Read the thread and you'll get it. My response to that is we didn't really get to see what the attack would do, but based on Pain's other attacks, I would definitely argue it would have less AP joule per cubic centimeter than a modern rifle. I would argue that all fucking day. Would anyone like to debate that? Would anyone like to debate that based on Pain's attacks that we've seen, that a bullet from a modern rifle would carry more force and energy per cubic centimeter? Would anyone like to debate that? Zaz, would you like to debate that? I'll give you, you can take some time, do your homework, find out what AP actually is, come back to the table, find out Pain's best attacks, and then get a calc, and then we can find that out. It wouldn't be hard for me because modern rifles actually exist. I can do this like in 2 minutes if I need to. Would you like to do that? Right. So, I would argue that it would have less AP per cubic centimeter than a modern rifle. When does Kishi show anyone using the gun? He says, in the tuning exams, he already showed shotguns. Laugh my ass off. Read the thread. You'll get it. Okay. Does he ever show anyone getting shot with a fucking gun? Just showing guns in the verse doesn't mean anything. Did anyone get shot with it? Did anyone use the gun? Like, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, and their guns would be drastically inferior to our own. Even 50 years ago, their guns would be drastically inferior. The fuck are we talking about, bro? All right. He says, yeah, that's a whole lot of BS assumptions that I don't even need to refute. Is it because you can't refute them? You've probably never heard AP expressed in JCC before. I can guarantee you've never heard AP expressed in that way. Your mind didn't even know what to do once I said joule per cubic centimeter. You didn't even know what to fucking do. You probably shut down. Oh, I can't refute that. I don't need to refute that. I don't need to refute that. That thing being able to hurt B already throws this yapping in the bin. Newsflash, Zaz. Base B, like every other Naruto character, is kunai level. The threshold to hurt them isn't very high, my guy. Now get this, guys. He says, yeah, you're lucky that I didn't instantly block you to have a good, hilarious laughing time. Kunai level is something only said by brickheads. The kunai has the energy of the ninja used. Otherwise, even Goku equals laser level or Shunsui bullet level. This tells us he already doesn't understand what the fuck he's talking about. Or at least the Shunsui bullet level thing. He doesn't understand what the fuck he's talking about. He has no idea how Reiatsu works. No idea. What do you think blocking me would do for me exactly? What do you think, Zaz? Because mind you, you didn't, right? You didn't. We continue to talk. We're cool. But just curious, what do you think blocking me would have done for me? You think I would have cried? Do you think I would have given two shits if you blocked me? You would have just proved my point that you're a sensitive Naruto guy. That's it. I'm glad you didn't, and I'm not saying you are, right? Let's get our claims down, because I know you like to mix those up, right? Someone claiming something versus someone stating a hypothetical, whatever like that, right? I'm not saying you are a sensitive nanny, although it could be argued from the first couple of responses. But what do you genuinely think blocking me on social media over anime would have done for me? Not a damn thing. You think you're the first person that has blocked me over anime? Get real, bro. No. You mentioning those examples lets me know you mentioning those examples lets me know that you know their kunai level, and I bet you don't even know why. He doesn't understand how his own Response: let him know that he believes that they're kunai level. Hold up. Chat. Does anyone know? Can anyone gather? I'm gonna read it again. Right? Let's go back to the B thing. Let's get this all in context, right? He says, turns out he literally gives that ability to pain, being a gun, right? A gun. My friend, I wouldn't describe that as a gun, but okay, laugh myself. How about you quote Otsutsuki's statement that I agreed with? Right. He doesn't do it. Cool. Kishimoto just changed ideas later in the story. He made that statement at the very first chapters of Naruto. Okay, I went back too far. I went back as far. Shit on Summer Madness again. All right. Yeah. He says that thing being able to hurt B already throws this yapping in the bin. Base B is kunai level. The threshold to hurt them is not very high. Yeah, you're lucky I didn't instantly block you. Kunai level is something only brickheads say. Otherwise, even Goku equals laser level or Shunsui equals bullet level. Now, the challenge is this, chat. Find out why him saying that lets me know that he knows that they're kunai level. Find out why. I want to see if you guys can find out why. This right here. Otherwise, even Goku equals laser. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a big brain thing or anything. It's literally just him talking himself into a fucking hole because he doesn't know how to conceal his intentions. Anyways, I would have never said something like this. This is like that can go wrong so many ways. Anyways. He says, "What? You literally just made that kunai level bullshit up." Oh, wait, is there? Did I miss a comment? Hold up, let me check here. Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, he says, hold up, 1 minute. Okay, we back. He says, "What? You literally just made that kunai level bullshit up and went away with it. Kunai level doesn't mean anything if the energy behind the kunai scales to the character. That's literally a 2020. That's literally a 2012 level debunk." Kunai level doesn't mean anything if the energy behind the kunai scales to the character. So, what happens when the energy behind the kunai always scales to the character? What happens in that case? Did he see? This is what I mean by critical thinking. This is exactly what I mean by critical thinking. It's why I'm attacking you personally on this level as far as critical thinking. I didn't make it up. It's evident in the series, and many people have spoken about it. The problem is the kunai always scales to the people they hurt because their durability is always below the kunai. Pretty obvious, right? He says that's the other way around. A kunai can hurt someone if the energy they put behind it, if the energy behind it by the user is greater than the energy of the character who gets stabbed. Ooh. Otherwise, it would be like saying lasers are stronger than Goku and bullets are stronger than Shunsui. Bullshit like that. So, again, he doesn't understand the series that he's speaking on. And I don't have the time to correct him because it's really not worth it. When they don't if you've ever been in a conversation with someone and they're so lacking and so far behind in the material that you've already digested, taken in and studied, it's almost not worth it to take on every little fight. Right? Because I could have attacked both of these points as far as the laser and the Goku and the Shunsui. I could have attacked, he said, the energy of the character who gets stabbed. I could have attacked that. That would have been extremely easy. But a lot of the times, bro, it's just like, bro, there's so much you're missing and so much you don't know. For a 2012 argument, you sure don't know shit about it, right? There's so much you don't fucking know. I would run laps around you. And then we got Godflow. Godflow, I'm going to burn your ass. You better stop playing with fire. You was in the hot pan not even 8 months ago, my nigga. Stop it. Stop it, Godflow. Stop it. Zaz, not gonna lie, you arguing with yourself. I can hear the hidden agenda behind his words. I've been keeping up with y'all entire convo, and it's funny as fuck. He got 21 questions like 50 Cent, laughed my ass off. Ab-stract, let me ask you this. Why are you saying they're kunai level? Z ha 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 ha. Z ha 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 ha. Alright. I say it because anyone wielding a kunai in Naruto can pretty much kill anyone else if they're not using Sage Mode, a defensive jutsu, or the Jinchuriki Cloak. Exceptions could possibly include the Otsutsuki, but I'm not sure on that. The Otsutsuki vary in durability. It's very weird. He says, okay, you don't believe the weapon scales to the user. Can you explain why for me? This is when we switch into Godflow's conversation, me and his. We're going to take a break from me and Zaz and get into Godflow real quick. I say, when you say that phrase, weapon scales to the user, what do you mean by that? Be extremely specific and use examples. He says, meaning the weapon's strength depends on the wielder. Kunai are only dangerous in Naruto because it's literally superhuman ninjas using it. That's why old dude was able to stop a kunai or whatever with a toothpick. It's been shown throughout the series. Yeah, Genma's example is so like annoying because I'll get into it, man. It's shit like this is just dumb to me, bro. But it's fine. You know, use whatever you can, I guess. So I respond with, that's twofold because not everyone fights amping weapons. So for the people that do it, yeah, the issue is people that don't do it can still injure people to the same degree that do it. And you do realize their superhuman attacks would be similar to their superhuman bodies, right? That's a bad example. Mind you, he said, kunai are only, he said this, kunai are only dangerous in Naruto because it's literally superhuman ninjas using it. But if the ninja are superhuman, wouldn't that mean they would also have superhuman strength and durability? So wouldn't that really just mean that the kunai are just dangerous? If I said, Ab-stract, knives are only dangerous because adult human males are using them, well, no, nigga, the knives would still be dangerous. It's not the fact that adult human male is using the knife is going to be dangerous either way, because everything would scale in proportion to what we're talking about. So no. Zav says, can you give me a time where a character didn't amp a weapon? Ooh, hold up. This is I don't want to get into the cipher just yet. We gotta go back to me and Zaz. So real quick. Okay, cool. Yeah. He says, what? You literally just made that up. Kunai level bullshit, right? 2012 level debunk. Cool. Oh, wait. No, this is still me and Godflow. Okay. Where do we have our conversation? I'm going to go to ours. I'm going to find it real quick. Okay. Maybe he did just start with that. All right, I'm going to start here. It's okay. If I find it, it's fine. He says, can you give me a time where a character didn't amp a weapon with chakra? Because you keep saying that not everyone amps their kicks with chakra, which is wrong. Everyone does, but not everyone uses all of their chakra focused in one kick. Okay, nah. I want to find the beginning of that conversation. That's what I need. Let me see if I can find it. Where's my bookmarks? It's 23 hours ago. That's what I should have started with, actually. All right, I'm not saying verse needs to be not that. No, not that one. You know, this is because I'm actually close enough to where I can just use my notifications. Or I should be close enough to where I can use my notifications. Problem is, Shinigami was in this conversation too, kind of. but he was talking to Yo. All right, so we're getting into. We switched gears, mind you guys, because all this started because he said he uses the same methodology as I do, and he never actually used anything close to my methodology of delineating hyperbole from fact or anything like that. Okay, cool. This is all from March, which means everything is up. Beautiful. Let's see if I can find it. All right, what's this one real quick? Okay, that was me commenting on that. Just begging the question. Pretty much doesn't work like that, even from a debunk. I don't give a fuck. All right, cool. It's all about the money. Okay, feats are there. You're just being disingenuous. Cool. If I can't end up finding it, I'll just have to jump into that conversation, but I really want to find it, y'all. Keep track. He thinks I acknowledge the Otsutsuki feats that he never provided. He thought I was actually saying his methodology was wrong when I said it's actually up to him and his choice. Well, not his methodology, my fault. He thought I had to debunk something or defend something when I was saying it's his choice the entire time. And then the methodology conversation happened, which he also never proved. Mostly everything that was actual. No, not that one. Okay, where's the next portion at, bro? This is all yesterday's stuff. Okay, well let me just start here and see if I can pick it up from where we left off. All right, it's fine. I'm at this. I'm gonna have to circle back. It's fine. Cool. I don't mind. So I say, yeah, it's twofold because not everyone fights amping weapons. So for the people that do it, yeah. The issue is for the people that don't do it can also injure everyone to the same degree. You do realize their superhuman attacks would be similar to their superhuman bodies, right? Bad example. Zaz says, can you give me a time where a character didn't amp a weapon with chakra? Very weird question. Because you keep saying that not everyone amps their kicks and with their in punches and stuff. Not everyone uses all their chakra focused in one kick or their weapon. What's the proof of that? I say a time where a character didn't amp a weapon, laugh myself. How about this? If everyone is in fact amping their weapons, then my statement about kunai level still stands true. Which is hilarious, right? But jokes aside, that burden would be on you because it's not shown to be a skill everyone is capable of or employs. He says, bro, I already showed tuning level characters amping weapons and equaling skewers with kunai. What do I have to prove more? Okay, and I can show Sakura and Tsunade punching hard. Guess what? Not everyone is doing what they're doing. I can show A doing a body flicker. How many people don't use that in combat to the same degree of proficiency? Are you not seeing the problem? He says, bro, what Sakura does is different from what other characters amping kunais do. You're doing literal textbook association fallacy. We are not talking about the body flicker or Sakura. Tsunade's max chakra punches, or Tsunade's max, Tsunade's max chakra punches. We were talking about regular tuning already being shown amping weapons. It's not an association fallacy. Oh, what in the fuck? Yes, that is my ringtone. Anyways, it's not an association fallacy because we're still talking about chakra manipulation. That's been the entire time. No. See, I want to find the fucking topic, guys. I want to find it. Okay, what we'll do is this. We'll go back to the point where, we talk about, because y'all gotta see this shit. Listen to this shit first off. Where's it at? Where's it at? All right. Oh, okay. That's what happened. Right. So I explained what kunai level was to Godflow. Then Karibo brings his Karibo ass in here and says, what is kunai level? Like he doesn't sit in on my live streams and watches my videos and comments in my chat and interacts with me on Twitter/X. He's acting like he doesn't know who I am, which is hilarious, right? So I tell Karibo, the idea that anyone wielding a kunai in Naruto can pretty much kill anyone else if they're not using Sage Mode, a defensive jutsu, or a Chinchuriki cloak. Exceptions could possibly include the Otsutsuki, but I'm not certain on that. So basically the same thing I said to Godflow. Zaz says debunked. I said when and by who? And he repeats this scan. Now guys, this is where I'm going to fry his ass alive. This is where I fry his ass alive, right? This is going to be a clip. I'm going to send this to your ass, right? I say that's not a debunk. He says it's a debunk to your kunai level bullshit. I say it's not. It's not. You guys use that and misuse that proper context all the time. Let's make sure that we understand what we're talking about right now. What? Someone who only has the ordinary Sharingan isn't supposed to be able to win against the Mangekyo. The ordinary Sharingan is still a weapon, and a weapon can either be strong or weak depending on the ability of the person wielding it. Someone carrying Shuriken might still lose to pebbles thrown by an adept. So, the point is their variance in strength, that Sasuke's talent has exceeded Itachi's imagination. I'm going to give you guys a second to digest that and read it for yourselves. Put into the comments what you think Zetsu was saying by this statement. Put it in the comments. Okay. All right. So, that's the full context of the statement, right? Cool. Zetsu says what he says. Ab-stract says that's not a debunk. Why? Because you guys are always misinterpreting the proper use of that statement, right? Because he says it's a debunk to your kunai level bullshit. I say it's not. You guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time. He says, what would be the context? He says, what would the context be then? Pay attention, Zaz, because I'm kicking your ass right now. The proper context is saying if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon, not because the weapon is somehow getting stronger though, but because the master is using it in a more effective way. At no point was Sasuke's Sharingan stronger. I then say, and that's important because when we talk about kunai level, this logic doesn't even apply. It's just shown to be the case that kunai wielded by anyone can injure anyone. I don't know why y'all think this is a series where attacks bounce off of people, right? Now, I want you guys to pay attention to something. I want you guys to pay attention to something. Wait, what did he say? What did he say? Yes. So he replies 2 times to this, right? His first reply is, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. We can stop right there because that's a full sentence. So when I said the proper context is saying if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon. He said, first, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. Then when I said about when I said what I said about the kunai thing, right? Because remember, that's important when we're talking about kunai, or it's not important when we're talking about kunai. He says, that's not what the context says at all. Listen to this, guys. He says, that's not what the context says at all. The context is that with enough force, you can damage someone even with something like a kunai that has behind energy. Okay, you can damage something even with something like a kunai that has enough energy behind it, right? You can harm someone that has less energy via Newton's third law. He fucked up that entire sentence, but that's the idea, right? So, I want you guys to just think. How the fuck could he get hit? How could he come away with this as what Zetsu was saying at all? How could he come away with this? Right? Zaz, I'm attacking your logic and reasoning skills, your comprehension, and your ability to think critically. Right? That's what I'm attacking. And why we're doing that, Zaz. That's what we're smoking on all tonight, Zaz. And Ab-stract ain't do what? We ain't do none of that. We ain't do none of that. I haven't lied on you one time. I have used your words. I've used my words. And I've put everything in position. I haven't lied. I haven't exaggerated anything. So let's get into your coup de grace. All right. So, just so we're on the same page. Zetsu says someone carrying a shuriken might still lose to pebbles thrown by an adept. So the point is their variance in strength that Sasuke's talent has exceeded Itachi's imagination. Ab-stract's interpretation was the proper context is saying that if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon. Not because the weapon is somehow getting stronger though, but because the master is using it in a more effective way. At no point was Sasuke's Sharingan stronger than Itachi's. I didn't have enough characters to say it, but that's what I was going to say. Now guys, remember this because this is important. His first response is, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. We can read the rest of it now. He says, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. I sent the scan of Sasuke saying that the strength of a weapon depends on the strength of the user. That is both talking about hacks like Genjutsu and raw stats via the energy output behind the weapon. Otherwise, skewers wouldn't equal kunai. Cool, right? Understand this, right? When we're talking about the interpretation of something, you can't just switch fields, which is why I say, I don't mind you shifting to this panel because I got smoke for whatever you want to bring up. But before we shift topics, because even if you don't realize it, this is something different. We have to address my breakdown of Zetsu's words. We have to address my breakdown of Zetsu's words because what I said makes complete sense. So mind you, his first thing was, yeah, that generally makes no sense. His second thing was, that's not what the context says at all. That's not what the context says at all. I'm going to get your ass. That's not what the context says at all. With enough force, you can damage someone even with something like a kunai that has enough energy behind it. Newton's third law, whatever. Fuck, yeah, sure. So I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what to do. I've already presented my context. You literally just made that shit up. I say, would you like to ask AI whose interpretation is more accurate and have the loser concede to the other's point of view? He says, I mean, I won't concede either way because you used... Oh, yeah, I won't concede either way because what you used is deadass a 2019 type argument. Okay, so first it was 2012. Now we've skipped 2012 and went all the way to 2019. I don't know what he's talking about. He says, Grok. Now, guys, listen to this. Pay attention, because this is how niggas try and be slick, bro. Pay attention to this shit. He says, Grok, be the judge regarding the kunai topic after having read the whole discussion. Sir, that wasn't what was in discussion. That's out of boundaries. That's out of guidelines. Y'all see how he just framed that shit? Be the judge regarding the kunai topic. I wasn't talking about no damn kunai just now. That's not what I said. What did Ab-stract say? What I said, you guys use that. I said you guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time. Excuse me. You guys misuse the proper context all the time. That's what Ab-stract said. He says, Grok. Hold up. Where is it at? Because we're not playing that game. I'm not doing that, bro. He says, Grok, be the judge regarding the kunai topic after having read the whole discussion. Karibo says, don't ask AI. There's other Naruto/Boruto scalers you can add. Karibo, don't insult my intelligence, Karibo. Why would I ask any of these guys when a majority of them think like him? A majority of them think that Zetsu is saying Newton's third law in bullshit. A majority of people. I said, nah, he just said Grok agreed with him. Oh, yeah, let's go to that real quick. Let's go to that. Where's his thingy at, bro? Okay. So he asked Grok, right? Mind you, I said, would you like to ask AI whose interpretation is more accurate? What interpretation are we talking about, though? We should be talking about this panel, right? Grok says, after reviewing the full thread and the manga panel on Sasuke and Sharingan weapons, the context explicitly states a weapon, like ordinary Sharingan or Shuriken, is strong/weak based on the wielder's ability, skill, force. This applies to kunai too. Kinetic energy scales with the ninja's power, speed. Newton's third law supports transmission of that force. Kunai level as a blanket low tier ignores this, as seen in series where fodder kunai don't hurt high tiers, but peer level ones do. Okay. So you used Grok. Not only is Grok, well, first off, you used Grok to answer the wrong interpretation, number one. Number two, Grok lied to your ass just now. What we're going to do live, we're going to do this live. I'm going to ask Grok, because Grok made a claim. Kunai level as a blanket low tier. No, yeah. He says kunai level as blanket low tier ignores this, as seen in series where fodder kunai don't hurt high tiers, but peer level ones do. Cool. So let's at Grok and say, where in Naruto? Nah, I'm not even going to do it. I'm not even going to do it because I already know I'm right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not even going to do it. It's going to take up too much time. Anyways, so you asked about the wrong context. That's number one. You've already made that mistake. We're almost at the 30 mark, by the way, too. You asked the wrong context. Grok gave you wrong information. That's two. Right? Panel leans towards Zaz's side on user-dependent potency over fixed anyone's kunai injures anyone. That wasn't the conversation. That wasn't the conversation. And if you're not smart, you're not going to understand this. The conversation was the interpretation of Zetsu's words. I can prove it. I can fucking prove it. You guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time. What is that? Well, that is this panel. I want to make sure I'm super fucking clear right now. I said that's not a debunk. He says it's a debunk to your kunai level bullshit. I say it's not. You guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time. What would be the proper context then? The proper context is saying if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon. That's the context. That's the context. He gives his own context. He says that's not what the context says at all. The context is that with enough force, you can damage someone even with something like a kunai that has energy behind it enough to harm someone. Newton's third law, right? Cool. So now that you're all caught up on that, let's go back real quick. Now that you're all caught up on that, let's go back. This is when Kuribo says, don't ask AI, right? Then I said, nah. He just said Grok agreed with him and used the complete wrong context. He says the context wasn't wrong. It was exactly that. It even explained why your kunai point is wrong by quoting Newton's third law, something that exists in Naruto. Just move on, gang. Laser Goku asked him, hey, Zaz, all good, my nigga. I got you on the playback. All good. Do it, do you. Like you've been doing. So, what does the abstract do? Grok, when it comes to Zetsu's analogy about a shuriken and a fucking pebble, whose interpretation is more accurate, mine or Zaz? Because that's what we were talking about. Listen, Zaz, I know you don't have the comprehension to understand what's going on here. Your fucking statement about the kunai and Newton's third law had nothing to do with the misrepresentation of Zetsu's fucking words. I don't know how to get it through your fucking skull, you young dumb nigga. And this isn't personal. This is on a Powerscaling scholarship level. I'm attacking you. Right? We can VC after this too. I don't mind. I'm a nice guy. I really am a nice guy. Understand part of this is for theatrics. I put on a show. You dumb fuck nigga. Let me stop. I think I put on a show though. You know, people we had 17 people in the building at one time. We got 13 now. So gotta put on a show, right? Anyways, the context, Zaz, was about this specific statement from Zetsu about the shuriken and the sharingan and the pebbles and all that stuff, right? So when we ask that in context, what does Grok say about that? Because you asked the question that was in a you asked a general question about the entire thread when I didn't even get to make an argument yet. So I don't know what the fuck Grok was even judging at that point. So when we ask Grok the correct interpretation, right? What does Grok say? Let's read the question again. Grok, when it comes to Zetsu's analogy about a shuriken and a pebble, whose interpretation is more accurate, mine or Zaz? Let's make sure I'm not lying, right? He says this. You're lucky that I didn't instantly block you. You have a good, hilarious laughing time. Kunai level is something only said by brickheads. The kunai has the energy of the ninja used. Ab-stract's response is that's not a debunk. It's not a debunk. It's a debunk, he says. I say it's not because you guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time. Cool. So we're not arguing about kunai level this or kunai level that anymore. Don't know if you know. Don't know if you noticed. But the minute I said you used the wrong fucking context, the conversation switched. Now we're not arguing about kunai level bullshit. We're not even arguing about durability. We're arguing about fucking context. But you don't fucking know this. Because you watch people like Seth the goddamn programmer and Noodles who don't do this. So, when the question is asked in proper fucking context, Grok, when it comes to Zetsu's analogy about a shuriken and a pebble, whose interpretation is more accurate? Your interpretation of Zetsu's quote is more accurate. A weapon's strength or weakness is dependent on the user's ability to use it. An expert with a pebble can still beat a novice with a shuriken. It stresses skill making a basic tool devastatingly effective against a superior one in unskilled hands. Not the pebble itself scaling up in energy, but masterful application. Matches your point on masters using weapons more effectively. Zaz's take fits chakra infusion in general, Naruto combat, but misses the analogy's core emphasis on user proficiency over tool-based power. That is a fucking 30 on your head. That is a fucking 30 on your head. You not only didn't know the fucking proper context of the conversation, you didn't understand what Zetsu said. So guess what? I'm right on 2 points because when I said you guys use that and misuse the proper context all the time, and then you said, oh, you're wrong. This is the context. Newton's third law. Shurikens are sharp. You young, dumb motherfucker. Truly. Zaz, I'm not attacking you personally. I'm attacking your logic and reasoning skills, your comprehension, and your ability to think critically. I am not attacking you personally. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I might have just went on that tirade, but that's just because I'm reading this now and getting more upset that I even let this go on that fucking long. But I realized I needed to do this for content. I realized there's some dumb niggas out there. Right? So let's just make sure we're not making a fucking mistake. Because like I said, I read things at least 3 to 4 times to make sure I'm as accurate and consistent as possible. I wish more people would. Then we wouldn't be having these conversations. You'll never get me like this. You nor anyone else on the fucking, well, not anyone, right? You definitely won't. Not saying it's not possible, but I had to be on my worst day to be looking like this, to get this wrong. Zetsu fucking clearly says someone carrying a shuriken might still lose the pebble stone by an add up. Where is he talking about Newton's third law? Where is he talking about chakra infusion? Where is he talking about strength? Where is he talking about any of that stuff? Where is he talking about anything that you mentioned? Nowhere. That is a fucking 30 on your head. Let's go again. You guys misuse that. You guys misuse the proper context of that all the time. What would be the context then? The proper context is saying if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon. Not because the weapon is somehow getting stronger, though, but because the master is using it in a more effective way. And then he says divergent judgments are not allowed. Why? Because I asked the proper question in proper context. Is that why we wouldn't be using the divergent judgment? Is that why? Oh, all right. Cool. Just making sure. Mind you guys, I want you guys to really, really take in. He said the context wasn't wrong. It was, hold up. Not that part. Oh, okay, yeah. We already went through that. Cool. All right, cool. So y'all know how we just went through all that, right? And I just embarrassed him, right? Get this. We go back to that conversation. Kind of. We go back to that conversation. Now, keep in mind, guys, everything that I just said as far as the Zetsu shuriken thing, all that happened before this conversation, but it was all like happening while it was happening. So imagine that conversation just happened, then like maybe 10 minutes later, this conversation is also happening and going on. So I explained the proper use of the context. He says, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. I sent the scan of Sasuke saying that the strength of the weapon depends on the strength of the user. This is both talking about hacks like Genjutsu and raw stats via the energy you put behind the weapon. Otherwise, skewers wouldn't equal Kunai. Now, he's wrong on this front because he's still missing the core philosophy of what Zetsu's fucking talking about. He's not talking about amping weapons or anything like that. So you're wrong again, but let's continue. I say, I don't mind you shifting to this panel because I got smoke for whatever you want to bring up. But before we shift topics, because even if you don't realize it, this is something different. He doesn't understand that Zetsu's words have nothing to do with amping a fucking weapon. He doesn't get this, guys. I don't know why. He listens to people that microwave information. That's what it boils down to. Yeah. We have to adjust my breakdown of Zetsu's words because what I said makes complete sense. Cool. He says, no, you said that the mastery of an object can lead to a more powerful uses of the object. I say that's true, but the cause of that is because the character uses his chakra, which is energy, to amp said object. Therefore, being hurt by a kunai means that the energy in chakra was high. So get this, guys. Mind you, like I said, guys, I need you guys to hone in on this because it's like, that conversation wasn't too long after what I just said. So he says, no, you said that the mastery of an object can lead to a more powerful usage of the object. I say that's true. But the cause of that is because the character uses his chakra. So he agrees now. Oh, it's true? Weird. Because if we go back, you were saying it doesn't make sense. If we go back, you were saying that was the complete wrong context. But now it's true. Ab-stract says, so if it's true, why didn't you just say that, then move on to your next point? Laugh my ass off. You kids these days, man. Now we have to prove amping weapons is as common as walking on water and something every shinobi actively does. He says, what? Yeah, you're just making me, you're just asking me to prove cold temperature water takes. Everyone, okay, here we go. This is the juicy stuff. He says, yeah, you're just asking me to prove cold water temperature water takes. Everyone manipulates chakra to amp weapons. Guys, I need you to, I'm bookmarking this. He says, everyone manipulates chakra to amp weapons. You just saw a scan for that. Genin fighters and chunins do that. That's the base step. If you're a skilled shinobi, you also add a nature release to the chakra. There's the claim, right? We all heard him make the claim. We all heard him just say, everyone amps weapons. Everyone manipulates chakra to amp weapons. He said that. I say, thank you for proving my point. You do realize you're showing me Naruto currently learning this as a teenager, right? Laugh my ass off. And you further realize that Naruto isn't as good at weapon amping than Asuma, despite having more chakra, right? You understand that, right? He says, no, gang, you're not tracking. You literally just proved you can't read. Naruto is not surprised because there's chakra added to the weapon. He's surprised that there's chakra with shape transformation. I already showed you tuning fighters equaling skewers and kunai with chakra. Young brother, this is going to be bad on the playback. I tell him this. This is going to be bad on the playback. Look, I'm going to give you a chance to collect your thoughts. Maybe collaborate with some mutuals or other people. Search carefully and see where you're making a mistake. I gave him a chance. Zaz, you can't say I didn't give you a fucking chance. I did. He says, my stance is the same. I'm not even being disrespectful or anything. I fuck with you. But genuinely, your takes are outdatedly old and bad. There is not a single refutation or debunk that was valid against my thread and validity of the statements. You also made a lot of fallacies, so nah. I say this, young blood, I stand on every video I've ever put out, and I've covered Naruto's durability extensively. This is all in good spirits, and you're not being disrespectful, right? Granted. I'm just giving you an opportunity to make sure you know what you're saying. Okay, wait, where we at? Okay. Oh, right. So, and mind you guys, a lot of conversations are going on at the same time. So this is one of them too. The ending of we have to address my breakdown of Zetsu's words, because what I said makes complete sense. The next comment that I said under that was, would you like to tell me why my interpretation is wrong? He says, I never said it was wrong. I just said there's an even more fundamental implication. Huh? Hold up. Let's bookmark that. You never said it was wrong? Did I make that up? Did Ab-stract lie on himself? Is that what happened? Let's go to it again. So when Ab-stract gives his interpretation of the weapons, we got to do this again because we just found out new information, guys, right? Ab-stract gives his interpretation, right? Cool. The proper context is saying if an individual is a master of a weapon, it can be as effective as a superior weapon. Cool. His first response is, yeah, that genuinely makes no sense. Where's the second response? Damn, I can't find it. Y'all know he went into the Newton's third law and said, no, that's not what he's saying. He's saying this, right? Y'all saw that, right? So, but now he's singing a different tune. when I say, would you like to tell me why my interpretation doesn't make sense? Now it's, I never said it was wrong. Well, that's convenient. After about 10 minutes of radio silence, now it's not wrong. I never said it was wrong. I just said there's an even more fundamental implication prior to that. Basically, there's something that precedes what you said because it's the direct cause of that. Which means you still don't understand Zetsu's philosophy on weapons being more powerful, or masters of weapons being stronger. I don't know why I'm brain farting here. You don't understand Zetsu's philosophy of people using weaker things to the highest ability, basically. So I said, nah, what you said was it doesn't make any sense. Then you tried to counter-explain something that you agreed with. You tried to counter-explain something that you agreed with. I never said it was wrong. His words, not mine. Where's the other thing he said? God, bro, you're so lucky this shit is not in fucking order, bro. You're so lucky this is not in order. I swear to God. Yeah, you're extremely lucky this isn't in order. He says, elaborate. I said, I described exactly what happened in the panel. You said it didn't make sense, then tried to counter-explain with an entirely separate scan. Then you circled back and agreed with what I initially said. Literally the order of events, what happened. That's a fucking 40 on your head. He said, that's not what happened, man. Be for real. What you initially said was true. Oh, now it's true. No. Now I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to go back and find that Newton's third law bullshit that you was fucking kicking because you said I was wrong. Now it's all of a sudden true. Do y'all see the type of shit I got to put up with? A nigga disagreed with me to just agree with me 10 minutes later because he probably ChatGPT'd it or some bullshit. That's not what the context says at all. The context is that with enough force, you can damage someone even with something like a kunai. That's not what the context is. That's not what the context says at all. But then he says, I agree with you. It was true. Y'all see this bullshit? I told you it was going to be nasty on the playback. I told you this. I'm cutting your ass up. I told you this. I told you this. We can read it right here. I never said it was wrong. I just said there's an even more fundamental implication. What? Where's the other one, bro? Where's the other one? Anyways, y'all get the point. I don't got to keep beating a dead horse. The nigga backtracked. He got caught with his pants down. He jumped out the window. He doesn't know who the fuck he's talking to, basically. That's basically what's going on. He doesn't know me yet. Okay. Let's get to this part because like I said, I warned him. Youngblood. I stand on every video I've ever put out and I've covered Naruto's durability extensively. This is all good, spirits. You're not being disrespectful. I'm just giving you an opportunity to make sure you know what you're saying. Okay, prior to this, I didn't even know you made content and videos. You can share me one of those so I can see how you covered that stuff. Listen, I'm not saying any of that stuff to promote. I'm saying that to let you know who I am and what you're dealing with. I don't just be saying random shit. Hey, Zaz, listen. I know you're younger than me. I know you don't study as much as me. I know you don't read as much as me for sure. That's an absolute fact. I know you don't comprehend this information as well as I do, right? All that to say, I don't just be saying random shit. And I'd hate to have to do this to someone who just started interacting with me. You seem cool, but extremely overconfident. I can say that. Because I put in the work to be able to say that. I can tell by how you argue. I can tell by what your points are. Just your level of, just how much work you put into this, like actually understanding all the shit. By how you argue, by what words you use, by what arguments you go with, I can already tell how much level of study and how much work you put into this shit. It's not on my level. Respectfully, it's just not on my level. I've caught you out there more than 5 times already. You've disagreed with me, then agreed with me several minutes within each other, then try to act like you didn't do that. You thought I was disagreeing with your original point when I was just saying, hey, bro, that's how you scale. That standard's not for me. I think everyone can be light to me by that. You try to... I've caught you out there. Needless to say, I caught you out there. And the best part, guys, is we're not done. Oh, no. We're not done. We haven't even gotten to the fun shit. We're not done yet. So let's keep going. Let's keep this shindig on the move, because I'm making an example out of Zaz. Yes, I am. Does anyone know what we're smoking on tonight? Anyone? Zaz. And Ab-stract ain't told what, Drake? Oh, okay. All right. All right, cool. Let's go here. Now, we're going to take a break from Zaz real quick and go back to me and Godflow's conversation. Because here's what happens. Zaz says, all right, Ab-stract, you know what? I'm just going to wait till the video. Because I warned him. I said, hey, bro, just chill out. I warned him. I said, just chill out. It's good. We good. No issues, right? Actually, I'm gonna find it so you guys know I'm not lying. Where is it at? All right, where are we at? Oh, yeah. Hold up. We didn't even get to the funny shit, bro. Let me get to the funny shit, man. So Shinigami says, yeah, apparently 2 MFTL characters who are willing to do anything to stop an opponent from using a technique like their moment with Kaguya just stood there against Mach Speeds, LOL. Thanks, Seth, for the argument, by the way. AKA, talking about Seth the programmer. I say laugh my fucking ass off. They fucked up this entire generation. Zaz says, you never provided a single disproving point from my thread, by the way. Are you sure you can talk about that? Hey chat. When was Ab-stract ever out to disprove Zaz's thread? Rhetorical question. Let's read. Young brother, that was never the point. Like most Naruto scalers that argue with Ab-stract, you're now lost in the sauce of the debate and have missed the entire point of the entire conversation. Why would I need to disprove a point when my point of view is most of these claims are illegitimate? Why would I need to disprove a point when, from my point of view, most of these claims are illegitimate? What's there to disprove? They're already on a foundation that I don't believe in. Now, listen to this, guys. This is where it gets funny. Zaz says, I never missed any point. I never argued abstract stuff. I provided concrete evidence and translations there. Very funny that he, first off, he says, I never argued abstract stuff. I provided concrete evidence and translations there. You just don't like that because you're coping, but that ain't my problem. No claim of mine was illegitimate. Move on. I respond with, the young man doesn't even realize when I said abstract, I was referencing myself. He said, I never argued abstract stuff. He didn't even realize that I'm abstract, so he hasn't even paid attention to my name. Else, something in his brain would have clicked and said, abstract. Oh, that's who I'm talking to. But it didn't. He immediately went to argue mode, debate mode, which is why he misses shit like this, which stunts and halts his reading comprehension. Right? Young man, you don't even realize when I said abstract, I was referencing myself. Lost in the sauce again. If you're asking for a disproved point, you absolutely missed the point. If you're asking me to prove anything, you missed the mark. If you think you're wrong, if you think that I think you're wrong, you missed the mark. He didn't understand what the entire point of my comment was. See, he took offense, he got defensive, jumped out the window, and he thought I was debating him on some shit. Zaz, you gonna get it the worst, but my nigga, not the first. My nigga, you gonna get it the worst, but not the first. He then says, then what's your whole point of your very first comment? If I remember properly, you brought up other stuff that was supposedly debunked, with Kishi saying guns are OP and characters only being kunai level. Tell me what's your point here. I say no thank you. No thank you. See, I don't know about you guys, but for me, this happens all too often, right? And I'm tired of bringing scalers back to reality. The main point has no bearing in relation to the side tangents that came up later, right? My main point was that you can scale how you want to. I just believe you can get every verse of Lightspeed that way, and that it's not for me. I literally said this. That was my main point. The side tangents, right, about kunai level and gun, all this other shit, that has no bearing on the main point. If you want to know my point, please go back and read to understand and not to debate. He says, bruh, okay, I'm fine with that. Whatever you say, as long as it doesn't refute something from the thread. I said, we would have to be using similar scaling methodologies for me to refute you. The only thing I can disagree with is your scaling philosophy and propensity to use statements as facts. We understand that, right? Here's the thing, guys, about scaling. Unless we're using similar scaling styles and unless we've agreed on a certain scaling methodology, I can't debunk him. I can't, because we're coming from two different worlds. In his world, statements equal facts. This is a fact. I confirm this with him, right? In my world, it requires a higher level of proof. In my world, it requires a higher level of proof. So I cannot debunk, I cannot argue against someone working on a completely different scaling ethos and philosophy than me. That would have to be locked down first. What do we agree on? Okay, cool. We agree on this. We agree on AP. Okay, cool. Then we can debate about AP and who has the wrong or right answer for whatever we're doing. If we're on two different worlds, if we're in two different planes, literally, of scaling, which we are, then no, I can't disagree with you, bro. I can only disagree with your methodology. I can only disagree with things that exist for both of us, how you gather information, your methodology, your standards, your practices, your core belief. I can only disagree about that shit. I can't tell you that Mifune's thing isn't light speed. I can't tell you that. No, I cannot. I can say, well, I certainly don't take it as light speed. Right? But if you're claiming it is light speed, oh yeah, you need to show forth and prove that. So yeah, we would have to be using similar scaling methodologies for me to refute you. The only thing I can disagree with is your scaling philosophy and propensity to use statements as facts. Here's the reading comprehension again. Hey Zaz, this is a Zaz. Zaz, listen to me. Lock in Zaz. Zaz, this is not a personal attack. This is an attack on your logic and reasoning skills, your comprehension, and your ability to think critically. I'm going to keep saying that because I have no ill will towards you, but it's what your scaling community has produced. Yeah. Oh yeah. I hate that all day because when did I give you the inclination? Because you say this, you said, but you did agree that feats equal statements, right? Where did you ever even get the idea that that would be the case when I've been on your ass telling you that that's wrong? Where would you even get that idea? I wouldn't, like, why would you fix your face to ask me if I believe feats equal statements and therefore statements would also equal feats? Because those two can, if they equal each other, then it's the law of implication, right? One equals one, no matter where you flip it. Or that's law of implication, double reversal, whatever one it is, right? I don't know where you got that idea, but it shows me that you're not paying attention. And it shows me that you're just trying to you're fishing for something. Anyways, but you do agree that, and by the way, we never got that Otsutsuki shit I agreed with too, 5-0. But But you did agree with feats equaling statements, right? In fact, some of these statements are statements of feats, not just statements regarding hypothetical capabilities of feats. So the only issue would be understanding if the source of said statements is valid or not. No, I've never said feats and statements are equal. The issue would be inconsistencies, outliers, treating chakra-based elements as IRL elements, as well as the source these statements derive. He says, bro, okay, if you don't agree on that, then it's no use. Feats equal statements. Get this, guys. Feats equal statements is literally an axiom that everyone takes as true. Do you guys see the insanity? I just told him, no, I've never said feats and statements are equal. You did agree that feats equal statements, right? No, I've never said that feats and statements are equal. His next reply is that axiomatically, everyone takes that as true. Zaz, if I just disagreed with you, how could that axiomatically be a truth that I agree to? If I just disagreed with you. I'm not attacking you personally. I'm attacking your logic and reasoning skills, your comprehension, and your ability to think critically. Because I believe you lacked all three of these in abundance during this conversation. He says, bruh, okay, if you don't agree on that, then it's no use. Feats equal statements. It's literally an axiom that everyone takes as true. For the lower part, I already addressed everything in the thread. Yeah, so for the lower part, as far as the inconsistencies, outliers, treating chakra-based elements as IRL, he didn't address any of that shit. He didn't address it because he doesn't use it. I say, I certainly don't believe that because I live in the real world. And you don't believe that yourself, unless you're telling me you believe any and everything someone says to you is true simply because it was stated. He says, Ab-stract, be for real now. You're just doing appeal to reality and feigning ignorance. A fictional work isn't like the real world. If there's a certain statement, it's because the author wanted to emphasize something, like a feat. Okay, cool. Hold up, where we at? I say, sir, you brought up axioms and said everyone takes statements as equal to facts/feats. I don't do that in scaling or in real life. So I've now made it clear, right? Because his comment was more of, be for real, you're appealing reality, feigning ignorance, a fictional work. Cool. So we're talking about a fictional work. Cool. I'm just putting it on the table. I don't do that in scaling or real life. And many other people don't either. I wasn't feigning ignorance. I thought that's what you were saying you do, and you thought everyone does. I really did. He says, you don't do that, and that's okay. Now he's starting to sound like me. That doesn't mean that's how it works. You're bringing in real life, but fiction is different from real life. In real life, there isn't an omniscient narrator that gives factual statements. First off, the Databook doesn't have an omniscient narrator, if that's what you're fucking talking about. The Databook does not have an omniscient narrator. It's not telling a story. It's not narrating. Those words are coming from the author. But to act as if the person who wrote that is an incorporeal fucking amalgamation of a narrator that doesn't exist. He's just telling the story. Oh, the guy that voices Hunter x Hunter's thing. We don't know what he looks like. We never heard him. He's the narrator. No, that's not what a data book is. That's not what's going on. That's written by the author and whoever co-collaborated with him. That's their fucking words, not an omniscient narrator's. Don't bruh, no. Okay. So he says, you don't do that and that's okay. That doesn't mean that's how it works. You're bringing in real life, but fiction is different from real life. In real life, there is an omniscient narrator that gives factual statements. A statement has a reason to be stated in a work. Cool, I agree. I say a statement has a reason to be stated in a work. Cool, I agree. It could be to mislead, throw off, or fool the reader. It could be to hype up, build anticipation, or to add whatever lore or myth is attached to the character. Interestingly, none of these things serve as truth values. Isn't it funny how that works? Isn't it funny how that works? Because a statement has a reason to be stated in a fiction. I agree. Those are all reasons statements can be stated within a fiction. Critical thinking, logic reasoning. Okay, I had to be more specific because you ain't tracking. Again, it's very funny how I'm the one that's always not tracking. Yet in this conversation, you've disagreed with me, then agreed with me right on the spot, didn't understand my very first initial comment and tried to get me to debunk you or some weird shit like that. And a whole list of other shit that I've already covered. It's just very funny that this is how this all goes. Funnily enough, I reacted to this video on my channel. Oh yeah, he linked that. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into, before it's 10 o'clock, let's get into the core of this because we're almost done. Yes, after all this, guys, we're almost done. Tay says it's really fascinating how people's minds work and how they problem solve. It's scary, bro. It's not fascinating at all. If I was dealing with someone as smart as me, then it might be a little interesting. But no, it's more scary than anything, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's more scary than anything. Okay, cool. Now let's get into this shuriken shit. Let's get into this shuriken kunai shit. And this is where it's going to get disgusting for him. Okay. All right. So if you guys remember, I was talking to Godflow, and he asked me, yeah, can you explain? Oh, he said, yeah, he said weapon scale to the user. I say be extremely specific and use examples. So he as well put this image with this image. Cool. I said it's twofold because not everyone fights amping weapons. So for the people that do it, yeah, the issue is that people that don't do it can also injure everyone to the same degree. And you do realize their superhuman attacks would be similar to their superhuman bodies, right? Bad example. He says I wasn't talking about them amping their weapons with chakra. Cool. I'm talking about them in general, fighting with kunai. Every shinobi can amp their weapons. All right. Now, that is the second time someone has made the claim that every shinobi can amp their weapons, right? Cool. Or no, he said does. This is a can. I don't mind that. He says, yes, they are human, but very strong and can durable than humans. That's what I mean by superhuman. Okay. I say your example of superhuman is bad in my opinion because it's basically like saying knives are only dangerous because they're being used by adult humans. But if you give a baby a knife, they can still kill you. No different than Naruto. He says, no, I don't know how you took my words that way, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying knives is dangerous, period. But it's more dangerous in a skilled teen's hands than an adult human with no skill. So, Godflow, at least when it comes to this subject, Godflow is not a dumb nigga, right? Godflow understands the analogy or understands the point that Zetsu was making. He just demonstrated, right? He says a knife is more dangerous, period. But it's more dangerous. He said a knife is dangerous, period, right? Cool. Yes, it is. But it's even more dangerous in the hands of a skilled teen than an adult with no skills. That's true. I agree with that. He says a baby wouldn't have the strength nor speed to kill a person. The knives can still cut though, which really reinforces my point of the whole adult human thing and babies could kill you with their knives. Yeah. So cool. I say, as long as you're not saying the knife gets any more potent, then I agree with you. Someone skilled with a knife is a bigger threat. There we go. That's progress. He says, yes, that's what I'm saying. But we know it could get potent by chakra being used to amp it. I say that's a case-by-case scenario because just like not everyone I say that's a case-by-case scenario because just like not everyone is enhancing their strikes like Tsunade and Sakura, I have no reason to believe everyone is amping their weapons. I can give it to people we've seen do it though. I think that's fair. Cool. Now, Zaz comes back. I'm trying to tell you guys, Zaz said that he was going to chill, that he was going to wait for me to just cover the thread. This wouldn't have happened if Zaz just had some patience. I wasn't going to do all this shit, but he wanted to keep going. So I said, all right, bet. I'm going to make a movie out you. So before we get into this, let me get into the other stuff, the prior stuff to this, because we talk about it, but I want to get all the other conversation we had. Okay, where we at? That was 16 hours ago. Okay. All right, let me see real quick. No, I'm not looking for this conversation. I need the other conversation. Nope, yeah, not this. I need... Give me a second, y'all. After this Kunai shit, we're done. After this Kunai shit, guys, I promise you. I already did that one. Elaborate. That's not what happened, maybe for real. Okay, we already saw that. I don't know what even made him say this. Oh yeah, I already reacted to that. Okay, my stance is the same. Yes. All right, was it this one? Okay, all good on the playback. Oh, here we go. All right, I want to make sure, because I don't want anyone to say I bullied this nigga either. Mind you, when that whole Grok shit was finished, I told him, I said, Sai, you made another mistake, which was the whole interpretation thing of Zetsu's word. I told him this. I'm being generous, guys. Zaz says, I won't reply anymore to the convo and just wait till you cover this stuff, I guess. He was supposed to sit still and wait. He was supposed to wait. Is what was supposed to happen. Right. That didn't happen, of course. So let's go here. What's the first thing he replies to? Oh, wait, no, that's it, actually. Yeah. So cool. We got him saying he was supposed to wait. Next time we see this nigga, he says, bruh, I gave up. I said I was going to comment anymore. I said I wasn't going to comment anymore, but this is straight up wrong. Every single ninja constantly amps their body with chakra. Every strike during hand-to-hand combat is chakra amped. What Sakura does is actually maxing all the chakra present in her body only in a single punch. Mind you, the conversation that me and Godflow are having is weapons being amped is a case-by-case scenario. That's my position, at least. Not everyone does it. Not everyone does it to the same degree. So we get into that. So he shows this panel of Sakura punching the ground. It says, kneading up the maximum chakra inside the body all at once and in an instant fully concentrating it into the fist without considerably precise chakra control, it's a feat that cannot be done. Cool. So that tells us that it's deliberate, not everyone does it, and that it's a skill thing. Nice. I say, I pretty much just say what I said. So we see what she's doing is a deliberate skill that has to be taught and mastered, and isn't something just any and everyone can do, or does at the same proficiency. Thank you for aiding my point. He says, yeah, what Sakura is doing is completely different from amping Kunai. Sakura just focuses the entirety of her chakra into one fist, while even Genin, Sasuke, Chunin, Ukan/Shakan amp their skewers with chakra to equal Kunai. Can you tell me how they disprove your point, please? So, Zaz doesn't understand that the entire basis for Naruto's power system working is chakra control. He doesn't understand this, or else he wouldn't be asking how. He just aided in my point. He doesn't understand this, right? So I'll say it now, then I'll go over it. Zaz, if people in Naruto have to manipulate chakra in order to do their superhuman feats and stuff like that, right? And then we find out that, well, okay, hold up. Punching as hard as Sakura and Tsunade actually takes a lot of training, a lot of skill, a lot of practice, and extremely delicate chakra control. Oh, okay. Well, then that means, unless you're trained to do it, not everyone's doing that. In fact, we can see when people are throwing their strikes, not everyone is doing that. This should be basic. Right? Cool. If we extrapolate that idea, we can put that towards almost anything. Almost anything, right? Let's talk about weapon amping, since that's what this is going to come down to. When it comes to amping weapons, is this something that's taught at the academy stages? No. Is this something that is generally taught at all? Generally? No. So, we can also conclude that since it's not taught in the early stages of the academy, and it's not taught generally as a ninja, that it's also a skill that a ninja has to pick up on their own and hone, just like striking hard. There you go. But I'm gonna walk you down anyway, because I took time out of my day to be here and miss the gym. I'm supposed to be at my twin brother's house playing Rainbow fucking Six Siege until I go to sleep. I came here to talk to you. That's why you're getting this work. He says, yeah, what Sakura is doing is completely different. Oh, yeah, I read that. I said, sure, you provided a skill that not everyone can do to the same degree, and in fact, only Sakura and Tsunade fight like that. I'm saying weaponry reinforcement is also a skill that not everyone does or can do to the same degree. He says, no, you're doing association fallacy again. What Sakura does is different from what everyone does with Kunai. Sakura maxes all the chakra present in her body in one fist. Chunin level characters just chakra added on top of their energy to Kunai. So now he's down. So we're going to get to why that's incorrect. Let's bookmark that too, actually. I said Sakura is doing a skill with chakra. Amping weapons is also a skill that uses chakra. You need to prove that everyone is always and automatically doing that skill, and I have yet to see that. He says, I already showed you that. I already showed that the skill level required for amping chakra weapons is the same of Genins using chakra to climb trees. Let's get to that real quick. His evidence. Hold up. I don't know when he shows it. Where's he show it? Because this means I'm at a different conversation.
Yeah, it's actually a great idea. For our wedding in Liberia, we're only asking for cash gifts, especially because we're traveling there. We don't want to have to take much cash.
I gotta show you guys that first before we.
I know. It's rough. It's rough.
Because where's that? Let me find it.
Eddie made a good point, though. First, I was gonna cancel.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He made like a whole reply thread. That's right. So yeah, after I said that's a case by case scenario, right? He made like a whole reply thread. That's what it was. Okay, cool. So let's get into this real quick. Fuck. I'd have to find them all though. I'd have to find them all from the beginning. Cause he did 4 replies. And he did 4 replies and I responded, bro. But I want to find them all real quick. I don't know what that was.
Goes down after winter.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's in order. Okay. So he says, bro, I gave up. I said I wasn't going to comment anymore, but this is straight up wrong. Every single ninja constantly amps their body with chakra. Every strike during hand-to-hand is chakra amped. What Sakura does is actually maxing out all the chakra present in her body, right? Cool. He then says, adding on, right? So what I'm about to read now is a continuation of what I just read there. He says, adding on as to why every single ninja in Naruto amps their weapons with chakra. Here's the claim again. Let's bookmark that because I'm going to need that again. Adding on as to why every single ninja in Naruto amps their weapons with chakra. The most basic application of that is used to climb surfaces. Does anyone already see where the mistake is being made?
Have you guys contacted them and said no? It's upsetting. No,
Does anyone see where the mistake is being made already? What does he say? The most basic application of that is used to climb surfaces. Every ninja can do that. Genin are shown doing so, and tuning like sound 4 equals skewers and kunai. Without chakra, that's not possible. So his evidence is in battles, circumstances are constantly changing, and a true shinobi has to be able to manipulate and maintain his chakras on the fly, even if he ever hopes to prevail. The time you need to just stand around trying to summon and control your own powers is a luxury you won't have. It's also the most difficult skill for even a master ninja to command. The type of tree climbing we are doing here requires the most fine and delicate application of chakra energy imaginable, especially because the bottom of the foot is an area where it is most difficult to manipulate those energies. So, he's taking manipulate chakra to the feet equals amping kunai for some reason. There's the mistake. Because I can use chakra to my feet, that means I'm amping my kunai all the time. Very strange. His next reply, mind you guys, this is in shotgun format because he said, I give up, right? So he has a lot to say. I give up. He said this first, then he said this one over here, then it's this one over here. Yeah. So he says, logically, this would mean everyone above getting level is able to amp all of their body and weapons with chakra. Somehow, he took that as a logical conclusion to the things he said. God damn. He took that as a logical conclusion somehow. He says, so like, if we're referring to strong characters in the series being hurt by stuff like pencils or skewers, it must mean that it's chakra amped via Newton's third law. And he keeps spamming Newton's third law. We should ask him what that actually means and how it actually relates to amping with chakra. That's what we should have did.
what tabernacle church? It's her mom's of the church that she's affiliated with, so she goes.
So let's stick on this. So we'll finish each of these ciphers in order, actually, right? We'll complete one.
And then tie your head, no jewelry.
So he says, can you give me a time where a character didn't amp a weapon with chakra? Because you keep saying that not everyone amps their kicks with chakra, yada, 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 yada. So like I said, we're going to go start with the first thread of the 4 replies and go down. Cool. So starting back with this one, we'll complete the thread, then we'll go up, complete that one, go up, complete that one. Cool. So yeah. What she's doing is deliberate skill that has to be taught and mastered. It isn't something just anyone can do or does to the same proficiency. Yeah. Can you tell me how this proved your point? Yeah, sure. Because you provided a skill that not everyone can do to the same degree. And in fact, only Sakura and Tsunade fight like that. I'm saying weaponry reinforcement is a skill that not everyone does to the same degree. Again, I already said that. He said, no, right? You're doing association fallacy again. What Sakura does is different from what everyone else does with Kunai, right? We already answered that. So I say Sakura is doing a skill with chakra. Amping weapons is also a skill that uses chakra. You need to prove that everyone is always and automatically doing that skill because that's what you claimed. And I've yet to see that. We all remember him claiming that, right? He said it twice. He said, I already showed that skill level required for amping chakra. Mind you, we just went over this. The skill he's talking about is the skill to climb trees. So he's making a vast and grossly overgeneralization of how chakra manipulation works. He's assuming because they learned how to walk on trees that they now automatically amp everything or coat chakra with it. I don't even know how he got to that conclusion. But there's no link there. It's pyramiding inferences. It's just jumping ahead of yourself and yeah, headcanon, honestly. That's what it really is. I already showed that the skill level required for amping chakra weapons is the same for Genin using chakra to climb trees. You did not show that. What you showed was that they can climb trees. I'll get to it. I don't need to prove everyone uses chakra to amp weapons. You made the claim that characters are kunai level, so you have to prove who doesn't amp weapons. So, and he's also making this incorrect, or I should say, he's making this erroneous connection between people amping their weapons and who is kunai level. He's assuming these people can only be kunai level if their weapons are being amped. But I haven't even introduced why that doesn't have to be the case, because remember when I said I don't have to attack every argument? In his head, he's probably assuming they're amping their bodies with chakra and durability. You guys already know I can dismantle that any fucking day of the week in my sleep. So he's operating under a false dichotomy in the first place. I'm not even dealing with that stuff. Hi, lady. How are you?
You told me to shush earlier?
No. When?
When I was on the phone and I came in.
No, I was telling you I was on live.
Oh.
So you can't, like, distract me.
I was just coming through the door. I was far, far, far away from it.
I know. I wanted to let you know. You might have came over here and, like, threw up
said
a vibe.
hello,
Mm-hmm.
like a polite person.
I was in the zone, though. I was in the zone, love. You got to ask
You
him.
were just in the zone right now.
No, I've calmed down now. Ask them. I've calmed down now. I'm bringing it down. All right.
I was on the phone with my mom.
Yeah.
You were shushing her.
Oh, you're wearing your pink ones. I mean, purple. Gosh,
Yeah.
I like them.
I wore them yesterday too.
Dirty dirt ball.
Oblivious. Ignorant.
I didn't see you
You
yesterday.
did see me yesterday.
You didn't come in with those. I didn't see you.
Yes, I did. Come in with those.
Nah, I don't believe you.
You're
I don't believe you. Anyways, let me finish this up. I got about like 10, 15, no, like maybe 20 more minutes.
Man, ain't nobody care.
Here you do. Here you go.
I'm sick.
I knew you wanted it.
She's sick.
Oh, you are sick. Yep, take my medicine. All right, so he says, I don't need to prove everyone uses chakra to amp weapons. You made the claim that characters are kunai level, so you have to prove who doesn't amp weapons. Again, he's making the assertion that because they get hurt by kunai, the kunai must be amped. Right? I say, no, you didn't, laugh my ass off. You showed walking on trees and water and said, oh, guess this means everyone is also amping their weapon. That's literally what he did, and we saw it. You do need to prove that because you made the claim. He says, I showed that to say how easy it is to manipulate chakra on a very basic level, which is what's used for amping weapons. Okay. We're going to get into that too. So I ask again for the 100th time. Show me who doesn't use chakra to amp weapons, since you claim not everyone does. It's your burden. You claim the negative. Oh, we're going to get into that too. I don't mind proving that. So that was the first half of that thread. Now let's move on to the second thread. What are you doing? Ow. Excuse me. So guys, let's go back to this one. Adding on as to why every single ninja in Naruto amps their weapons with chakra, the most basic application of that is use to climb surfaces. So again, let's not miss the fact that he's saying since they can climb surfaces, they can all amp their weapons. Or I'm sorry, since they climb surfaces, they all do amp their weapons. That's what he's saying, right? And he's shown the sound for doing it to Genma and Raida, like whatever, right? I say this is just pyramiding inferences. He probably doesn't know what that means. Show me weaponry reinforcement being taught like water walking. The problem is you think chakra control is a catch-all application, and doing something means being able to perform everything. Sorry to tell you, weaponry enhancement is a technique that varies in skill, like punching hard. He doesn't know these things. Kakashi says that when they master walking on water, guys, Kakashi says that when they master walking on water, then they can potentially master any learnable ninjutsu. Ninjutsu are nothing but chakra-based techniques that require chakra flowing in your body and outside your body. This logically entails that they do, in fact, amp kunai. I know I'm not crazy, and I know you guys aren't stupid. Right? So what does that make him? If Ab-stract's not crazy, and you guys aren't stupid, what does that make him for saying this? Let's do that again. Because like I said, I read things at least 2 to 3 times to make sure I'm not fucking making a mistake. Kakashi says that when they master walking on water, then they can potentially master any learnable ninjutsu. Ninjutsu are nothing but chakra-based techniques that require chakra flowing in your body and outside your body. Cool. This logically entails that they do in fact amp kunai. Zaz, this is not an attack on you personally. I'm attacking your logic and reasoning skills, your comprehension, and your ability to think critically. Yeah. Anyone that thinks because they learn to walk on weapons, anyone that thinks because they learn to walk on trees means they are therefore now always amping their weapons with chakra, you are stupid. Yes, that has to be said at this point. Yes. And no, that has to be said. We got to start being honest with people. Anyone making that connection is stupid because it's not there. Nothing necessitates it. Nothing indicates it. Nothing backs it up. There's no evidence for it. He wants it to be the case. He wants that to be true. Young man. Kakashi says that when they master walking on water, they can potentially master any learnable jutsu. This logically entails that they do in fact amp weapons, amp kunai. Young man. Does that mean they will master every jutsu and technique that exists? All that logically entails is that they have the potential to do that. Not that everyone necessarily does. He doesn't understand this. He doesn't understand this shit. Zaz, I don't know who you talk to, conversate with, or watch, but switch out your friend group. Switch out the people you learn to scale from. Switch out your source of content. This is not an attack on you. It might seem like it is. It might seem like it is, but I'm telling you, I'm getting more frustrated the more I read our conversation because of how much dumb shit you said, bro. And I told you, I said, hey, just chill out. I'm gonna review the live. This could have been peaceful, right? Now you might see this, and you might be like, fuck Ab-stract. I'm offended. You might actually do that because I'm really going hard because you couldn't wait. Very cute. I'm only going this hard because you could not help yourself but to comment. You couldn't help yourself. So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to give you what you want. I warned you. You should have watched some of my content. Is what you should have did. Young men, all that logically entails is that they have the potential to do that. Not that everyone will necessarily do that. He says, yeah, you're just committing another fallacy again via straw man. I said that they can learn potentially every jutsu. That is learnable within enough time, experience. That's not the point. The point is that water walking and kunai chakra amping is getting level. When did he prove that kunai chakra amping is gaining level? What's the tier for that? When's that explained exactly? What's the tier for it? When was it said that was gaining level? When was that connection made? And he doesn't know what a straw man is. That's not a straw man because I didn't form a baseless or misrepresented argument for you. That would have been a straw man. That would have been a straw man. I asked him a question based on his response. That's not a straw man. Saying they can learn any jutsu doesn't translate to everyone decided to learn weaponry reinforcement. I'm going to have fun with this one. And I am having fun because I'm kicking your ass up and down the street. You're bleeding. You're bleeding out. You need that stim pack. You need that medikit.
My house is a dirty, filthy, rotten man.
Yeah, except you are the one who said, I claim they can learn any jutsu. So this is him trying to grasp at whatever win he can take because he knows he's getting his ass kicked at this time. Yeah, except you are the one that said, I claim they can learn any jutsu. Like, that's the actual point of it, right? That's not what I said. I said they can potentially learn every learnable jutsu if they master every nature release. Bro, do you think adding potentially makes the statement that much different? The idea you were getting across was that by learning tree walking, that opens the door to learn other techniques. I'm asking you to prove that one technique that everyone elected to learn is amping a kunai. He can't do it. He says, logically, this would mean everyone above Genin level is able to amp all of their body and weapons with chakra. So, like, if we're referring to strong characters in this series being hurt by stuff like pencils or skewers, it must mean that their chakra is being amped via Newton's third law. He's hopeless. He's hopeless. So it must mean that it's chakra amped via Newton's third law. No. That logically means they mastered the first step that would help them with better chakra control. Get off my ring. In the Asuma and Naruto panel you showed, did it appear as if Naruto has ever amped a weapon in his life based on the difference in power between him and Asuma? Right? He says, no, you're not tracking again. I explained. So it's very funny how I'm always the one not tracking, but he's either always agreeing with me, getting his ass kicked on a point, or being totally left field from the actual conversation. It's always just funny how that happens. I explained it already. Naruto was surprised because Asuma added a nature transformation to the weapon, not chakra itself. Even if we hypothetically said that no shinobi uses chakra, they still put a certain force/energy into the weapon. Okay, even if we hypothetically take your point, Naruto's weapon produced no meaningful effect even with chakra behind it. Yes, obviously whatever force was used to throw the weapon or strike with it, it would be behind the weapon. I don't know why he even needed to say that, but okay. He says that's because effects are only added with nature release, not just raw chakra. Okay, this was like a so this whole tangent right here was a misinterpretation. When he said, because I'm going to skip this. We don't actually need to see any of this stuff. Yeah, we don't, this whole point right here, the ending of this was basically him saying that he said something to the effect of, the weapon was only sharp because it had nature release to it. And that made me say, okay, so I'll just read it. Fuck, it doesn't matter. He says that's because effects are only added with nature release, not just raw chakra. If you add wind release, then the weapon has a lot more penetrative effects. If you add lightning release, it stuns and electrocutes the body. I say, okay, so now we've added a new layer to this conversation, laugh my ass off. So by your logic, people who only know earth release cannot amp kunai because basic chakra doesn't amp weapons. That's what I thought he was saying when he said, effects are only added with a different nature release. By the effects, I thought he meant the penetrative force or the cutting power, but he's just talking about like special effects like lightning and shit. He says, that's not what I said at all. Please send me the screenshot of my message with which you came to that conclusion, because you either didn't understand what I said or you're just strawmanning. See, that's fair to say because there was a misunderstanding of what you were talking about. That's fair to say. Basic chakra amps weapons. See how he made that clear? Nice. Cool. We don't need a... Cool. Basic chakra amps weapons, but nature release adds more properties to the weapons. Thank you for clarifying that. All right. He said literally the comment right before this one, you said effects are only added. But okay, cool. So basic chakra weapons... Okay, yeah, so cool. Basic chakra weapons, back to the original point. Why did Naruto's amped kunai have the same effect as the regular one? He says that was to show you that the very basic step ninjas learn is okay. That's non sequitur. I don't know what he's replying to. Oh yeah, that's right. This was all okay. Yeah, this was all going back and forth for the place. Okay, yeah, we don't need this. All right. Come on. All right. I think we got like 2 more to go, guys. And then we're going to get into his actual coup de grace. Good. So we got past this one. Oh, this was part of the same thread. Okay. So I don't know if we need to read all this. Yeah, we don't need to read all this. All right, I went over that. Association fallacy. Okay. Okay. Yes, let's get that. Can you give me a time where a character didn't amp a weapon with chakra? Because you keep saying that not everyone amps their kicks, yada, yada, yada. All right. So, yeah, the biggest thing he's doing is overgeneralizing chakra control, number 1. And then he's making the assumption that everyone always fights by infusing their weapon with chakra. Right? So we already went over the joke I made. He says, bro, I already showed tuning level characters amping weapons and equaling skewers with kunai. So here's the problem with that. Let me speak to that real quick. So he's showing Sakon and Genma clash with a kunai and a toothpick. Right? Now, I kind of just, personally, I just dismiss this as ninja bullshit, right? But if you want to take the chakra enhancing route, fine. Say Genma enhanced his stupid ass toothpick with chakra. What does this mean for every other character in the series, though? Right? That's the actual question. Saying, oh, Genma did it, so that means everyone does it? No, that's not how it works. Or else tell me, why isn't Genma punching as hard as Tsunade and Sakura? Why isn't Genma using body flicker like A? Why isn't Genma doing the rotation jutsu? Stupid shit, right? So, are you saying, yeah, I can show A doing body flicker. I can show Sakura and Tsunade punching hard. Bro, what Sakura does is different. It's not. It's not. Sakura is manipulating chakra to a high degree. It takes a high degree of chakra control to make your weapon sharp. Yes, it does. He says, no, we're talking about getting level chakra manipulation. Prove that coding your weaponing chakra to an effective degree, or even that people do it at all, is getting level. Prove that. Prove it. No, we're talking about Genin level chakra manipulation. Every Genin that can walk on trees is able to manipulate chakra on a basic level. Okay. Sakon and Ukon, a tuning with a skewer, is shown equaling Genma, another tuning with kunai. That's literally less impressive than walking on water. Okay. Could it be that Genma learned weapon enhancement? What I need you to do is prove weapon enhancement is a basic technique that Genin are taught to do. Not can do, but are taught to do, like how tree walking is a basic skill everyone learns. 5-0, by the way. He says, no. Could it be that Genma is above Genin level fodder chakra manipulation? Yeah, that's right. So he hasn't established that weapon enhancement is a fodder level manipulation technique. Because, newsflash, just coding your weapon in chakra isn't necessarily just enhancing it. The two aren't the same thing. And we're going to get into that. So there's that one. Okay, I went over that already. Yeah, I went over this one. All right. No. Good. Went over. All right, cool. Let's get here real quick. Oh, no. Wait. Okay, yeah. This was a little. So this was a like mini debate of whether or not Asuma's blades absorbed chakra or absorbed the chakra nature. In the end, they do absorb chakra, but that's fine because it doesn't hurt my point at all. Let's see if I can find where else we are. Okay, now we got Godflow's ass in here. Godflow says, actually, Ab-stract, I'm gonna have to give it this Zaz. He dropped that tree climbing panel because Kakashi is explaining that the training is helping them learn chakra control and stamina. It's basically explaining that all shinobi know this information. So I tell Godflow, I'm telling you to get out that car. I'm going to Swiss cheese that motherfucker, then set it on fire. Then Zell voice. You know I'm surgical with this bitch, right? Because I don't know, like, this is what I be telling Karibo when he be jumping in conversations that don't got nothing to do with him. I'd be like, Karibo, stop jumping in bullshit. If you know something is wrong, you should probably just leave it alone, right? Godflow, see, here's the thing. Godflow agrees with him, though. So I get it. I get it. He says you're literally getting disagreed upon by someone that knows your takes. He thinks because Godflow disagrees with me that that's somehow a win for him. I cooked his ass too. I told you I was going to fry your ass, Godflow, if you kept doing what you're doing. I cooked that nigga too, Zaz. What's up? I can send you the link for that one. By the way, if I asked him to count all the fallacies you committed, you definitely wouldn't be saying that you were surgical. Do we agree he committed many fallacies? List down all the fallacies he committed and I would agree or disagree. Godflow, I'm going to light you up. Sakura and Tsunade are different from everyone because they have high mastery on chakra control, but that doesn't mean that every shinobi can't amp their weapons with chakra. If you believe every shinobi can do the walk on water, then you believe every character can do it. So Godflow is also making the same mistake that he's making. Actually, this might be a different mistake. I never said characters couldn't do it. Did anyone hear me say characters couldn't amp their weapons with chakra? Anyone hear me make that stupid ass claim? Niggas don't fucking read. Niggas don't fucking read. Niggas do not fucking read. It's true, though. And it got to be said. Because there's no reason that my point should be this misrepresented after talking for 3 days or 2 days. So you have to prove who doesn't do that. That's your claim. That presupposed a negative. Show me those instances, please. Okay, cool. Here we go. Let's do this. I never said characters couldn't do it. And you're making the same mistake he is. So you have to prove who doesn't do it. First off, that's not how it works, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know with your logic or however you view logic, I bet you believe that the burden is on me to prove that people don't do something. Dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard, would never hold up, but I'm going to do it for you. Okay, let's do that. Actually, is that the end of the thread? Let me make sure that's the end of the thread first, and then we'll get into the actual panel shit. Oh, there's more. Okay, hold up. Oh no, this is not new. Okay. Oh yeah, he this guy is also obsessed with Newton's third law, by the way. He says, I showed that to you how easy it is to manipulate chakra on a very basic level, which is what's used for amping weapons. Oh yeah, we already went over that. Okay, we're good. Feigning ignorance, cool. Nice. List down the fallacies he committed. Nice. Cool. Bet. So we remember his last thing, right? He said, so you have to prove who doesn't do that. That's your claim. That presupposes a negative. So he wants me to argue a negative, number one. And I don't mind because I have time. Well, I have a little bit of time. We're done at 10 o'clock no matter what. Let's do this, though. Let's do this real quickly. Remember when I said Naruto just figured out that he could amp weapons? Let's go to that real quick. Let's do that. So here we have chapter 317 where Naruto is learning chakra reinforcement from Asuma. This is a clone, by the way, right? So let's do this. Let's get this stupid ass cat out of here first off. All right. Asuma pulls out his chakra blades. He says, "This is my chakra knife. The knife is made of a special metal that sucks the chakra nature out of the holder." Oh, of the holder. He says, "Try holding it." Naruto, he gives it to Naruto. "Now let your chakra flow into the knife like what I just did here. Like what I just did." Naruto says, "Okay." Right? First off, notice how Naruto is struggling to funnel chakra into the goddamn knife. Oomph. So I can off the bat say Naruto doesn't fight like this. He's struggling to even channel chakra into the kunai. Oomph. It's sort of different from the way your chakra looked, Asuma Sensei. But maybe that's not enough for you. Maybe Naruto struggling to put chakra into a weapon isn't enough for you. Let's keep going. Listen up. When manipulating the wind chakra type, you've got to imagine splitting your chakra into two and rubbing them together. Then you've got to sharpen those two chakra parts into fine pieces and compose them together and compress them together. Cool. So he's teaching him how to make his chakra sharper. All right. Naruto says, hey, I just began thinking, but Asuma says, what is it? Naruto says, there are ninja weapons that can make cuts already. So is there any point in learning how to control this wind element? He then says, instead of training like this, isn't it much faster to just use a weapon that can cut? Are we serious? Are we serious? Zaz, you're a fucking idiot. The main character just said, instead of training like this, infusing your weapon with chakra, isn't it much faster to just use a weapon that can cut? And for example, what's the point of putting chakra? What's the point of putting a chakra that can cut into a weapon that can already cut? That's what the main fucking character is saying right now. So, he wants me, prove who doesn't do that? Okay. Naruto obviously doesn't do that. Sorry, I'm almost done, Becca.
It's not the time. I don't care about the time. It's the constant yelling.
Yes, no more. We bringing it down. We bringing it down. No, we are. I'm done. What do you mean?
I don't believe you.
You need more people.
Huh?
Nothing. It's a thing. It's okay. Anyways, so here we have your main character struggling, number one, to infuse this weapon with chakra, which indicates he doesn't even do it. Number two, he's questioning why they would need to do this if the weapon is already sharp. If you think critically, that would tell you that, number one, he doesn't do it. Number two, he doesn't even know the purpose for doing it. So let's get into this finally, because this proves your point about chakra amping in general in the first place. Asuma says, okay, then we'll both throw these chakra knives at the tree together. Why? Let's just do it, okay? We see both weapons are enhanced, right? We see Asuma's, we see Naruto's. Both have chakra. We see Asuma's go through the tree and Naruto's get stuck in the tree. No surprise there. But you know what's interesting about Naruto's? Naruto's is also amped with chakra. You know what's also interesting about Naruto's? It did the same thing a basic kunai would do if amped with chakra. Is this too loud?
I don't care about the volume. It's just the yelling of the
Okay, gotcha. Naruto's does the same thing a basic kunai would do if thrown without chakra, right? So this tells us that even amping your... So this tells us that even coating your weapon with chakra does not necessitate a higher AP. 6-0. I told you this would happen. Don't you ever again play with me in your life. You knew who, but if you're not convinced about that, hold up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you're not convinced with that, if that didn't convince you, let's go to this. Let's do this real quick. I made a folder today. What did I do with it though? That's right. I made a weapon enhancement folder. Naruto weapon enhancement. Right. Cool. So let's look at these images together. This is in my Naruto durability video, by the way. When Kishimoto draws people using enhanced weapons, he usually goes out his way to show that the weapon is in fact enhanced, right? After we know a person uses enhanced, after we know a person fights like that, that's my mom's thing. Okay. After we know a person fights like that, then I will say we probably don't need to see them enhancing the weapon every single time, right? But the fact that he has consistently going out his way to show enhanced weapons, mind you, look at this. Hey, Zaz, look at this. Zaz, look. A single kunai. Out of all the shuriken and kunai being thrown, a single one is enhanced. A single one, right? So we have consistency. Oh, I bought this up. I'll bring that up later. Anyways, we have consistency when weapons are being enhanced. We have consistency when weapons are being enhanced. That's lightning style for your ass. Consistency. Oh, hold up. We have right here. Boruto has the Uchiha style flowing blade jutsu known as Hagoromo. It's a jutsu that increases a blade's sharpness. Oh, he learned that from Sasuke. Huh. Interesting. What do you think that means if Boruto just learned this jutsu from Sasuke? It's a jutsu that increases a blade's sharpness and prevents chipping by continuously enveloping it in chakra. Oh, weird. It's almost like not everyone fucking does that. It's almost like everyone doesn't do that. But I lost focus for just an instant, and this was the result. The Uchiha flowing blade jutsu Hagoromo. It's a jutsu that increases a blade's sharpness and prevents chipping by continuously enveloping it in chakra. Oh, it's almost like everyone doesn't do that. We have here a unique style of swordsmanship steadily honed by Sasuke. Specializes in quick draw attacks that slice through multiple enemies at once, as well as imbuing the blade with chakra to enhance its cutting power. Oh, wow. So that's Uchiha style Kenjutsu. If we critically think, do we think that everyone's doing Uchiha style Senjutsu or Kenjutsu? I wonder. Let's go here. We see the samurai take out their swords, and the first thing they do is start to coat them with chakra. Kari notes samurai can control their chakra too. Oh, what does Tsurugetsu say? Tsurugetsu says, so that's how they use their chakra. So that's how they use chakra. If we critically think, which you don't do, so I don't expect you to get any of this shit because you don't critically think, Zaz. If we critically think, Tsurugetsu saying, so that's how they use chakra, we can reverse that thought and say, okay, Tsurugetsu doesn't use chakra like that. I'll make it simple for you. If I'm a farmer, right, and I milk a cow, and I take my milk and I ferment it and I put it in an oven, and let's just say it magically turns to cheese, right? And I make cheese. And then I go to another farm and they're doing crazy shit with the milk. They're doing shit with milk I've never seen. And I say, oh, so that's how they use milk. We could intimate that I don't use milk the same way they do. So that's two goddamn people that don't verifiably use chakra when using their weapons. Suigetsu, because he says, so that's how they use chakra. That's how he didn't say, oh, they use chakra the same way we do. Or he didn't even say they use chakra the same way I do. He said that's how they use chakra. Again, if I had a cow and I was milking the cow and I turned my milk to something else and I go to another farm and they did some other wild shit I've never seen, I wouldn't say, oh, that's how they use milk if I also used milk that way. No, I'd say that's how they use milk. I hope that made sense. Probably didn't though, because you kind of lack logic, reasoning, comprehension, and the other thing. I can't remember. It's been a long day. They also didn't show basic chakra around Boruto's blade until that scene. Karibo, it doesn't matter because I already established once we know the person is doing it, we can presume they are doing it. That's the whole point of it. You don't understand consistency, Karibo, and that's your biggest problem. You don't understand consistency, and that is your biggest problem. You're one of those guys that say, oh my God, Ab-stract, look, they didn't do it here. Like that's going to tear down every other fucking panel that I just showed of them amping their weapons. Like that stops anything. Like that stops anything I've just showed. So, don't know how long this stream was, but Zaz, that was over 2 hours dedicated to this thread and yo ass. If you still want a VC after this, we can do that. I don't mind. But I'm going to let you know now. If it was this bad over text, I would not give you a chance to breathe in a VC conversation. There's not a lot. You would not be able to get past none of this shit in a VC conversation. If this is how bad you did over text, that is. Maybe you were busy. I don't know. Talk to him, Cal. Like shit. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock. We getting out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Don't know when we're going to be reading Boruto. He threw off my whole Boruto thing. Still got the Kimimaro video to do. Tay, I'll be over tomorrow. Man, oh man. I don't know where they produce these guys. I don't know where they come from. No idea where they come from. I know consistency, we won't always be shown is the point. Okay, good. So you do get it. So then please, whenever, like, refrain from mentioning a single time something happens. Then, like, why would we do that when we have 6 other panels of consistency being shown? Why we like, what's the purpose? To say, oh, it didn't happen this one time? It doesn't really change the point, though, because we can now say, okay, it'll happen here out after that one time. Just like how we didn't know Asuma was first amping his weapon when he fought Kasame. Okay. It was just being introduced that he could do it. Same thing with Boruto. Like, just think before you type, bro. Just think before you type. That's all I'm saying. Because those were only, like, mind you, those were the only examples I could find at work. I didn't even put a full day's worth of prep into this thing. Because I already knew you were wrong. I knew by how you argued that you were wrong. I knew by your positions. I knew by what evidence you accepted that you would be wrong. After that, it was easy. All right, I'm gonna have to go over this chat another day. Who'd we have pull up? We had Pac Miller. Shout out to Pac. We had Max in the chat. Shout out to Max. Kamui AQ just got in. Hey, how you doing, Kamui? Yeah, you missed this whole joint, bro. You missed this whole slaughter. It was bad. Says your thick calves did a Kimi Mato video recently. It's not going to be better than mine. Whatever he did, respectfully, it's not going to be better than mine. I'm the only one who can go toe-to-toe with Ab-stract when he's like this. Y'all get out of here. I'll hold him off. Facts. Who else popped in? Neo, Animatrix. What's good, Animatrix? How you doing, bro? Oh, we had Michael Dorsey in here. Oh, we had Kino in here. Shout out to Kino. I didn't know Kino was in here. What's good, bro? Yeah, hey, my fault, guys. When I'm going in like this, I don't come up for air, bro. I gotta finish this shit completely because the amount of stuff. Woosah. The amount of things that I have to put up with talking to these crazy people who don't know how to debate, who don't have good logic and reasoning skills, who can't track a conversation despite saying I'm not tracking, even though whatever, right? It's a lot and it takes its toll. So I have to release that shit when I get up here, and I don't have time to check on every chat or whatever like that. So y'all just gotta let me do my thing, man. And y'all did. I appreciate y'all. Ab-stract, if you read this, I absolutely called it. I knew it. He won't accept an alternative judgment from Grok. That isn't him winning. Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. The only reason we even did the alternate judgment is because he took the entire context of what I said out of fucking context. No one was talking about Newton's third law and the Kunai thing. No. I said, you're using that panel and you're misrepresenting what Zetsu said. Well, Grok, read the entire thread. Tell me if I'm right. Who the fuck talked about the entire thread, my guy? I literally said you're misrepresenting a panel. Fuck. Don't ever play with me in your life's ass. I will destroy you. You are Victor's ass from now on because you're insane. You're now Victor's ass, the insane crazy guy who's in Arkham Asylum. Great VOD. Hey, I appreciate you, Luna Ursa. Shinigami, I think he's slick. We know you still here, man. Night Shift. Oh, okay, I got you, bro. He is fun. He did appear in Boruto. Yeah. All right, it is 10:02, guys. My laptop is actually about to die. Wow. 13%. We did pretty good. All right, let me get out of here, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Tell these young niggas stop fucking with me.